You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Good morning, everybody, from Clemens Park here in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. It's the 2023 minor league cricket season presented by Sunoco. It's a doubleheader for the hometown Philadelphians. This first match is against the Empire State Titans. So we take a look at the starting 11 for the Philadelphians. You see Liam Plunkett, the captain and coach of the Philadelphians, back in the lineup after playing for down in Florida as part of the T10 Masters. Annie Ruud Emanuel is in there, Derek Narayan, a couple of very familiar names, and no one more familiar name in there than Jonathan Fu. The Philadelphians won the toss and have elected to bowl on this pretty green top here in Clemens Park, which is making its minor league cricket debut. And we are set for what is an absolutely beautiful day of cricket. The Philadelphians come in with a record of 3-0 and one no result. And this Empire State Titans team, coming off a victory yesterday down in over in Mercer Park in the Trenton area, off an emphatic victory over the Manhattan Yorkers in the New York Derby. Christopher Van Tull started off things very well yesterday. Savan Patel is in the lineup as well. Kwame Patton, good. Not only with that, but also in the field as well. Captain Javon Sarles. This Titans team comes in looking to improve on their standings, and with a record of 2-3 coming into this match, and currently with 4 points, sitting 2 games out of first place behind on a winning percentage behind the Philadelphians. As we mentioned, an absolutely beautiful day, this Philly Cricket Festival. The Philadelphians will be playing 2 games today against 2 teams that they will face right again next week, the Empire State Titans, and then a little bit later on at about 2:30, local time, the Philadelphians will play the New England Eagles, who are coming with a 2-2 record. The Philadelphians in last season, actually each of the last 2 seasons, having finished in 3rd place, and it's very interesting taking a look at it's been a downward trend in terms of net run rate during the course of this 2023 minor league cricket season. Coming into yesterday's matches, the run rate for in 2022 was 7.06 runs per over, and it has dropped by 1 full run per over. And that is also kind of a testament to the fact that the Philadelphians, even though they are one of just 2 unbeaten teams in minor league cricket, the Lone Star Athletics being the other one, they are currently 24th out of 26 teams in offensive run rate. And so they have gotten it done with the ball, especially when you look at some of their bowling figures. Jonathan Fu, who really wasn't counted upon in previous seasons to be the strike bowler that he has, he leads the team in wickets through the first 3 played games, actually having only bowled in 2. 6 wickets for just 11 runs and an econ rate of 1.57. He's been incredibly efficient. And Raj Nanan, who is in his first year with the club, with 5 wickets from his 3 games as well. Joining me in the commentary position, of course, the man who has been calling a lot of these matches for you, Lenny Achaibar. And Lenny, this is an important day for the Philadelphians. Obviously, this Philly Cricket Festival, it's circled on everybody's calendar during the course of the year. We're expecting hopefully a good turnout. But this Philadelphian side, which has always been on the cusp of making the playoffs, now is in good position. If they can win both games today, they'll go top of the table on points with 11, and will have 2 games in hand on the team behind them, the New Jersey Stallions.
Thank you, Brian. Welcome to Hatfield. Delighted to be here. Yes. There you look at the Philadelphian camp, or part of the Philadelphian camps. They have done well this season, as you made mention, and they'll need to catch up on so many games. A couple of games carded on for them today. They'll have a busy day. They'll take on New England Eagles a little bit later on. But for now, welcome to Hatfield. Welcome to the 10th ground. And we've seen a lot of work go into this event, and we're all ready for play. So the news coming out of the middle, Brian, is that the Philadelphians have won the toss and they've elected to bowl first. So they want to come into a chasing opportunity. And I don't know if you've looked at what has happened during the course of the season so far. Have they been good on chasing, or it has been a bat first situation in many of the games?
Well, it's been It's been an interesting situation, Lenny, especially when you consider that the Philadelphians have won when that game that they won earlier against the Manhattan Yorkers, where they defended a total of 51 up at the molasses patch that is Mercer County, or Mercer Park rather. And as we've mentioned, looking at these four games, it has been, as we mentioned, the run rates has been down, so it has been a good season so far for the bowlers. As we mentioned, mostly lower totals. And as we mentioned, it'll be interesting to see. And also, it's been interesting to see how well the Philly attack has done. We mentioned how well Fu has done and how well Raj Nanan has done. A.J. Muhammad with 4 wickets as well. Remember, of course, Liam Plunkett being down in Florida has only played the 1 game, so they've done all of this without arguably their best player, and that's been pretty much how they've gone about things. It hasn't been pretty at times, but all that matters is that they've picked up the chocolates on all 3 occasions so far, bar the 1 rainout against the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. It is a busy weekend, this Labor Day weekend here across minor league cricket. 4 straight days of action. These 2 matches that are happening here in Hatfield are the only games in the Eastern Division today. And then New England will head tomorrow out to Mercer Park, again in Hamilton, New Jersey. and they'll play the Manhattan Yorkers, who will be awaiting them. The Philadelphians, as we mentioned, will play these two teams next weekend. They'll play the Titans on Sunday. That's a 10:30 a.m. start, and then they'll have a Monday morning match against the New England Eagles. You heard the voice of Lenny Achaibar a little bit earlier on. Matthew Achaibar joins us, and Matt, you called the match yesterday, featuring this Titans team, and one of the things we were talking about beforehand, before we came on air, was how well they played, how well they batted on a field that has been notoriously slow.
Yeah, they definitely outdid themselves when you look at how the conditions have played, not only at Mercer County, but even throughout the East, even a bit at the Glenville Cricket Complex in Schenectady. Runs have been very difficult to score, and the Empire State Titans getting over 150 plus. We saw them get off to a really fine start. The likes of Sawan Patel and Christopher Vantol no doubt will be opening the batting here. And if they were able to score 150 plus on a surface like this, on a surface like Mercer County, today we've got ourselves a pure Astro surface here in Hatfield, so that might be a bit more notorious for run scoring, a bit more batter friendly. So we'll see how the Empire State Titans, sent in here from the Philadelphians, will respond.
It's a beautiful day, really, to do anything, let alone play cricket, as we said, a crowd is gathering for young, old, and even the puppers are out as well. The one thing, just getting back to that match yesterday, Matt, is when you look at the scorecard for the Empire State Titans, every single player made it to double digits, and more interestingly, every single player hit at least 1-6, and that shows you how aggressive that they are and they can be when they bat. And you would tend to think that, even though the Philadelphians are hoping to get a lot out of this surface, that they are going to be aggressive and they are going to try and put up a high score.
Thing is, as well, with that win for the Empire State Titans, not only were they able to bat really well and to get in excess of 150, they also restricted the Manhattan Yorkers to only 111 for 9. They probably could have bowled them out maybe even a bit earlier had it not been for some strong resistance from Chintan Patel and Nisarj Desai at the very end. But definitely, no doubt, lots of confidence heading into the Philly Cricket Festival for the visiting Empire State Titans.
Philadelphians now taking the field, and the crowd that has gathered here giving them a little bit of applause here. As we mentioned, the temperature right now is in the low 70s. And it is not expected to get too much higher than that. So it's a good day to stand out in field. And really, this, as we mentioned, the Philadelphians a season ago lost both of the games in the festival, which was drawn out over 2 days. And they had more than 1,500 people come out. We're hoping for that many to come in as the day goes on. As we mentioned, the first of 2 games will play the New England Eagles a little bit later on. Now, if we look at the points table, as we said, coming in, the New Jersey Stallions tops on 10 points. The Philadelphians 3 points behind, but they also have 4 games in hand on the top-ranked Stallions. The New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, who have also played 8 of the 10 games so far, tied with 7 points. If you go by points percentage, as we mentioned, the Philadelphians have a half-game lead over the New Jersey Stallions. The Eagles, who we'll see a little bit later on, a game and a half back. And remembering that the top 3 teams of the 6 will advance to the finals, which will be the weekend of September, the 9th, 16th, 23rd, 24th. So not a whole lot of time to make some moves, and every game, every ball, everything at this point becomes magnified, Lenny.
Thank you, Brian. And so we're all set and ready. Liam Plunkett, it looks like, will take the ball. Will come into ball to Christopher Vantol. And Vantol and Sawan Patel, certainly no stranger to opening batting here for the Empire State Titans. And Brian, one of the things Empire State Titans have gotten right for the time being is that they haven't cut and paste their top openers. Christopher Vantol and Sawan Patel has always been stable at the top.
It has been, and Vantol is a very imposing figure. He is we like to call him Christopher Vantol because he is angular figure, cuts a rather angular figure at the top. As you see, some of the young fans, it is in fact on for young and old here, and perhaps maybe some England fans in there as well. Perhaps some cricketers of the future. And there's a lot of activities. Listen, there's a lot of stuff happening on the field. There's a lot of there's two very important games, but this is a very incredible and important day in Philadelphia and in Philadelphians, their calendar. So should be a great few hours here, and we hope that you tuck in, have a nice cool drink of your choice, and get ready for a great day's cricket.
So Vantal will be on strike, and you made mention the imposing figure of Christopher Vantal. You will need to get a better season so far. Brian, we saw him with scores of 8, 5, and his highest has been 16 yesterday. He got among the runs along with Sawan Patel, so we're just about ready to start. And we want to welcome you once again to all our viewers. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming to you all the way from Philadelphia on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Just about 10:22 a.m. So wherever you are, I want to say a special good afternoon or good morning. So good start here from Liam Plunkett already. Some bit of carry there, Brian.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All of his success that Plunkett has is in bowling is through the air. If you haven't seen him bowl before, he swings the ball a lot. The ball's going to move in the air a lot, and whereas a lot of bowlers go off of the bounce, his deception is going to be how the ball breaks and how the batter reads things through the air.
And the fact is, Brian, a lot of the batters from the eastern side will have to get it readjusted back to an AstroTurf today, as we have seen from Mercer County, new pitches, and up at Glenville. Oh, big slice outside the off stump of the bat of Christopher Vantal. And the East and the Empire State Titans, they're on the way with 4 runs.
And straight into the Philadelphians dugout there. And that's one thing we've mentioned coming in. Vantal was very aggressive yesterday and was very keen to get amongst the runs early, and you saw it right there, not messing around with that delivery from William Plunkett and the first boundary of the game on the second ball of the game.
Yeah, he's a type of player, Brian, who was probably like to play a couple of shots. And he gets a good delivery, corrected there by Liam Plunkett, but into the offside. And a very good start here from the Titans. They're 5 in just a couple of balls.
Yeah, and you mentioned the surface, Lenny. As we mentioned, this AstroTurf type wicket tends to play a little bit faster. But the Philadelphians bowling first want to try and get a read on it so that when they bowl, they know they'll have a decent idea at how it plays.
So Sawan Patel comes into strike. We saw yesterday he got a 47, his highest score of the season so far, and he was really approaching a 50. Not too many batters from the eastern zone, Brian, had gotten to a half-century mark, so it would have been an accomplishment yesterday. He has a chance to get it corrected today. They're 5 for no loss. Ball into the offside. Good batting here from both Vantal and Sawan Patel. He's off the mark. 6 on the board.
Yeah, we're just looking to get an idea. You mentioned those 50s, but yeah, this is going to be an opportunity. Like, the conditions are really well. I think the batters are generally going to play a little bit more aggressively than they have been, especially on a pace bowler like Liam Plunkett. We'll have to see how it goes.
So very good start from the Empire State Titans. Vantal gets a shortish delivery. And so has the defense. Still a very good start here from the Empire State Titans. We've seen Christopher Vantal and Sawan Patel being the fixed opener for the Empire State Titans. And for viewers all across, wherever you're watching from, crowds are beginning to come in. Here we are. And they're settled in early. They have come for the front row seats, Brian. And good luck. And for the others coming in a little bit later on. A couple of games on. Oh, play and a miss, and the ball goes through to the keeper. So the first over comes to a close. Is 6 for no loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So the Titans off to a decent start. 6 runs off the first over, off of Liam Plunkett. And as we mentioned, the crowd's starting to build a little bit. As we mentioned, 1,500 people came through yesterday down at Exton Park. And that is One-Eye Drysdale with the ball. Great pickup by the Philadelphians a season ago, and hoping to get more. He had some injury issues last year, hoping to get a full season out of him this year.
Yes, Brian. So Drysdale has been given the ball. Will come into ball to Sawan Patel. Could be leg by here, and I thought, Brian, you meant last year. 1,500 people, not yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it was.
The caffeine is not yet flowing.
Yes, so there's Jonathan Fu for you, the man who's leading the helm today of the Philadelphians. Man who comes out of Berbice, Guyana, Albion, and he's been given the mantle of leadership this year for the Philadelphians. And I know, Brian, you made mention the Philadelphians third in 2021, third in 2022. They'll be hoping that they can probably break that barrier of being third place.
Well, if they finish third place, as we mentioned, the playoffs have been expanded. So if they finish third place, that's good enough. But they don't want that. They want to finish in, especially if they finish in first. You would think they get a bye in the first round of the divisional playoffs. So that's the goal.
So Vantal is the man on strike. Oh, lofted shot. Garanshu Sharma comes in. Oh, it doesn't get to the ball. Ball was hanging in the air for some time. And so Vantal escapes.
You know, that might go in the book as a drop, but I'll tell you what, that might be kind of harsh because he had to run a good maybe 30 meters to get under it. As we look at it again, the ball comes in from Drysdale kind of shortish, and the ball's up in the air. Vantal, as you mentioned, Lenny, probably a little lucky to get away with this, but look at the effort there by Sharma as he was able to get in and probably drop right in front of him, but
so it could be leg by again. So we've seen some drama already in just the second over of play here. Drysdale. And it's surprising that Vantal hasn't wasted any time at all. He took on Drysdale, fellow West Indian. Vantal would have come out of Guyana and Drysdale out of Jamaica. So a bit of good West Indian rivalry for the time being. 9 for no loss.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. You'll see that in some really good matchups, especially on this Eastern Division.
So ball cut away. Lovely shot off the bat of Christopher Vantal. And that has gone away to the backward point boundary ahead of Derek Narain. And that's a lovely shot from Vantal.
That's a very lovely shot from Vantal. He's picking off right where he left off yesterday, even though he had a relatively short cameo. Seeing him very aggressive, you see him wait on the ball from Drysdale there. He's very patient, and he's poised to go on from the start that he's had so far.
So Vantal goes up to 10, as you can see. We've seen a lovely shot in the previous ball, and we'll probably highlight some of the best shots we've seen today. That's probably one of them. Drysdale, a better ball into the offside. Can't score this time. Vantal, they're off to a good start. The Empire State Titans, 13 for no loss.
Well, yeah, they're going to want to kind of keep at the 7-run, maybe a little bit more of the clip on this power play here. Put early pressure on the Philadelphians and make them have to extend their chase when it becomes their turn to bat.
So the Empire State Titans, Brian, would have gotten second in 2021, fourth in 2022. So second and fourth, they're playing a team that has done 3-3 in a couple of years. Here is Drysdale. Vantal gets a good quality delivery, so that will complete the second over. And after 2, Empire State Titans haven't been sent in. They're batting at 13 without loss.
गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So welcome back, 13 for no loss. They're going 6.5 runs and over. Not a bad start here. We've seen a little bit of everything in the last over. And that's the man, danger man, Ryan Scott. He's going to be such a key figure, not only in this game, but in this tournament. Lovely shot from Sawan Patel. And that has gone away with a commanding shot off the bat of Sawan Patel. That's gone for 4.
Yeah, they're not afraid of Liam Plunkett here, and that's really obvious. And they have come out to try and get as many runs as they can. And Savan Patel, we mentioned how well he played yesterday. They are really looking to take it to the Philadelphians early, and all of a sudden they're up to 17.
Oh, that's a lovely shot off the bat of Sawan Patel, a classic of a drive. And that's 4 more runs for the Titans. A lovely shot from Sawan Patel.
Yeah, they're playing to all parts of the field, Lenny. They really are, and you can see that they're trying to take advantage of the power play. And again, if you're not terribly familiar, these first 6 overs, they call the power play because there's a 35-meter circle and only 2 players are allowed to be outside that circle. And Patel, again, just finding a spot.
Oh, lovely shot again from Sawan Patel. Goes in the region of Paul Islam. So the runs continue to come. We've seen 9 runs off 3 balls. We've seen a couple of lovely shots off the bat of Sawan Patel. And 9 off a couple of balls.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what adjustments they make. You can see the Philadelphians switching around the field, or we can see the Philadelphians switching around the field a little bit. But right now, the Titans in command.
So we've seen a lovely couple 4s from Sawan Patel. Vantal comes in to strike. He himself has batted well so far. Couple of 4s of Vantal, couple of 4s for Sawan Patel, and already Liam Plunkett making changes to his field. He's brought out Ryan Scott from the slip area, goes up to a short cover position. Vantal gets a good ball, gets an edge, goes up to a short third position and can't score. So Sawan Patel, a couple of big drives in this over. Take a look at this one, Brian. Oh, that's a lovely up and over shot towards the long on.
That's pretty.
And then look, cover drive. That's a lovely shot off the bat of Sawan Patel. He's so good.
Yeah, he's pretty, and he's
free-flowing batter.
Yeah, he's picking his spots.
Up and over. That's a lovely shot from Christopher Vantal. On his toes. A slashing shot over the offside. 4 more runs for the Empire State Titans, Brian.
Yeah, he is really seeing it well. And he got high and got loose. He got not quite as high as Joe Cocker, so to speak, but you can see how controlled he is there. It looked like a flailed shot, but that is a very calculated drive from him.
Yeah, up on his toes. I'm pretty sure the photographers would have had a very good levitating picture of that. So the third over comes to a close, and they're going at 9 and over. It's 27 for none. So Deveshwari Prasad has been given the ball. And he comes in here, Brian, with 27 on the board. They're off to a very good start. 3 overs gone. And Prasad, the left arm seamer, will get a chance to come into Vantal. He looks well set, taking on the pad. We've seen quite a few leg buys so far.
Yeah, it looks like the strategy has been to try and jam them in on the pads as best as they can. And Prashad with a couple of wickets so far in his the 2 innings that he's bowled so far. That's the one thing, I guess, is that they're with this format and with the fact that they have so many bowlers, they have 9 different players who have bowled so far this season. They're going to try and give them as different looks as they can. But it's good to know that in a situation where they've looked so strong, where the Titans have looked so strong, there's a whole lot of different options that they can come back to. So that's what they're looking at here.
So ball outside the off stump. A play and a miss here from Sawan Patel. So lovely weather here at Hatfield, and as you may mention, the crowd are beginning to find themselves into the park. We're expecting a bumper attendance here today. Here is Prashad into the offside runs here. Scott has given chase, and they come back for 2 comfortable in the end. A lovely shot again from Sawan Patel.
Yeah, very good, and he's seeing the ball really well, and just a lovely cut shot into that fairly open field. As we mentioned, taking advantage of this power play where the outfield is not as well staffed as it will be after the 6th over.
And the fact is, Brian, we saw yesterday Empire State Titans enjoyed a very good power play in which they got up to some 55 runs. And they're enjoying a very good start in 54 to be exact. And they're off to a very good start here. Oh, lofted over the infield. And there we go. 1 bounce again from Sawan Patel. That's 4 more runs.
Yeah, Sawan Patel set a season high yesterday with 47 for the season, and he is racing towards that total right now. And you see it's a straight drive off of a ball that he looked very comfortable at. These 2 in the middle right now, Lenny, they look incredibly comfortable, and they are really, as we mentioned, they're playing aggressive and not afraid of this bowling attack.
So cut away into the offside. Ryan Scott is posted in the deep, and Brian, I want to think that the batters will relish the opportunity to really express themselves on conditions here at Hatfield that is so different from what we have seen at Mercer and Glenville.
Yeah, it's expressed in the numbers and the statistics, and we mentioned that the run rate has been down this year. This is a much different track.
So a dot ball to end the over. 4 gone. It's 35 for no loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So 35 for no loss. 4 overs gone. The leg spinner Raj Nanan comes into the attack, Brian. So spin for the first time.
Yeah, they're looking to try and get some early spin action here on this power play, and he is 2nd on the team in wickets so far, having taken 5 for just the loss of 23 runs. So. He's a guy who we've seen bounced around Manhattan Yorkers, and see what he can do for this Philadelphian side. So far, as we mentioned, he's been pretty good.
So he starts pretty well. Ball goes through to the keeper. Very good start here from Raj Nanan, quality spinner. And as Brian would have made mention, among the wickets, certainly he's going to be a key man here for the Philadelphians. Oh, this one has eluded the keeper. And so ball goes to behind the keeper. And by is the signal from umpire Ritesh Ritesh Patel. The umpires are Ritesh Patel and Mihir Patel, two quality local umpires that comes out of the New Jersey region. Suripol Islam, the man who's been brought into the Empire State Titans for this game. For the Philadelphians, sorry. So Vantal comes into strike, and Vantal will face up to his countryman. Raj Nanan probably would have played a lot of cricket together. Ball defended. Very good bowling here from Raj Nanan. Look at that. They'll have to scamper to even get the singles. And this has been tidy stuff so far from Raj Nanan.
Well, yeah, and I love his delivery. It's very straightforward. It's workmanlike in a sense. A lot of spinners, sometimes you see spinners with gathering the momentum. Speaking of gathering, as we mentioned, the gathering crowds. And the interesting, we were just talking, there's a couple over here, there's a few people around. A lot of people watching cricket for the very first time, and that's what this Philly Festival is all about. You're going to see you'll see a lot of India uniforms, and we saw a couple of England, and a lot of people who know the game and are here to see local cricket, but just folks who happen to see that this was happening and are getting around it, and that's what we like to see.
So ball chopped into the offside. Oh, put down. It appears to be Deveshwari Prasad, so a chance that should have been taken. Sawan Patel will bat on. It's 38 for no loss.
Oh, that was rough. I mean, that's the sort of ball you kind of have to take it down, and let's see. He was working backwards. Yeah, he had two hands on it. Prasad, he's going to want that one back. And you don't want to hand a team that is hot wickets, and the Philadelphians have done just that.
So ball cut away. That's a lovely shot from Christopher Vantal. And look at that. Punch through the covers area. And that has gone away for four. Lovely shot from Vantal.
Yeah, another really good shot from Vantal. As we see it once again coming in through and just opening up the bat face and slapping that to the offside. And we've seen him do a couple of these over the course of the morning. And again, he looks like he has his eye in, Lenny.
So they're up to 42 with just one ball away from the fifth over. What a start we have seen from the Empire State Titans. And we have seen a solid start from Vantal and Sawan Patel so far. And this over's gone for 7 from Raj Nanan. He's usually a lot more reliable than this. But the fifth over comes to a close. And after 5 is 42 for no loss.
Deveshwari Prasad will continue for the Philadelphians. Here, the final over of this power play. Empire State Titans 42 without loss. Big swing and a miss there. Good ball by Prasad, but in fact, it was too good. It's been given as a wide, and that's the first extra of this innings given up by Philadelphians bowling. Prasad giving up 7 runs in his first over. That was a much better ball by Prasad, and Patel with a big cut but no contact.
This has been a flyer of a start for the Empire State Titans. 43 on the board. They haven't lost a wicket. We saw a glimpse of that yesterday. They did the best they could really at Mercer County, even though conditions were difficult. But we definitely saw them get to over 150, as mentioned previously.
This one cut away nicely. They're going to get at least 1 run out of that. Stopped there by the man at deep mid-wicket. And they'll come through for another run, 44 without loss. Well, these two, I feel like if you're going to be successful, Matt, you have to have a good set of openers, and these two really putting their resume in.
Yeah, and that was one problem that the Empire State Titans probably had. As you see Sawan Patel playing up to Ryan Scott.
Big swing. This one's up in the air, looking for it, and taken. It is Derek Narine who makes the catch, and Van Tull, just as he did yesterday, went swinging and flailing to a decent score, but unfortunately gets out. As Derek Narine takes the catch, Prashad has his man. Van Tull goes for 20, and the Empire State Titans now 44 for 1, Matt.
Yeah, an awkward pull and just getting an edge straight up in the air. And Derek Narine makes a simple catch. And the tie 5 celebration made so popular by Shikhar Dhawan pulled out from Derek Narine. His first game of the season for the Philadelphians. Van Tull goes after a start. He falls for 20. And the Titans are 44 for 1.
Kwame Patton Jr. will take the strike now. And here's another guy, Matt, who has the ability to trouble the scorekeepers with regularity. And he is, in fact, their runs leader with 105 runs so far in the 5 matches that they've played. As you take a look at the VIP tent, see a Guyanese flag there, a number of players from that country represented. But, yeah, they're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination.
Guyanese loud and proud in the VIP stand, and Deveshwar Prashad will be feeling loud and proud at the moment with the wicket of Christopher Van Tull, fellow Guyanese.
Cut away there, and they'll take a run. Stopped at the deep by Ryan Scott, gets the ball in quickly, but they do get a run out of that, 45 for 1.
Kwame Patton Jr. has been someone that has really been pretty much at every stage in the batting in the innings for the Empire State Titans. Has come out in really every different, any scenario you can imagine. Has had to come out when they're struggling to rebuild an innings, has come out towards the back end of an innings as we saw yesterday. Here he is after a decent enough start, last over in the power play with already some runs on the board.
This time he slaps this one down. 2 players giving chase. They're going to come back for 2 as One-Eye Drysdale heaves the ball back in, but that's a good play and a good shot there, and a good way to get a couple of runs on the board as you see it again.
Firm shot from Sawan Patel has been so brilliant in the last 24 hours, it's fair to say.
Again, waits on this one and cuts this one to the offside. They'll come through and take yet another single. And that ends the over. They do make the breakthrough to the Philadelphians getting the wicket at the end of the power play. Empire State 48 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
After the power play, the score is 48 for 1, Empire State Titans.
Rajan Anand back into the attack for the Philadelphians. Giving up 6 runs in his first over. And Kwame Patton Jr. trying to get in and advance the score. Oh, a reverse sweep and goes all of about 3.8 meters. Very good idea.
Yeah, very ambitious, very brave shot attempted from Sawan Patel. But perhaps if there's anyone to try a shot like that, it's Sawan Patel with the amount of confidence that he's coming into this game.
And another big cut, another miss. That's really good start from Rajan Anand to get a couple of dot balls. Especially against a guy in Sawan Patel who, as we mentioned, is capable of eclipsing that half-century mark.
Gone straight to the man. Commentator's curse, unfortunately, Brian. Sawan Patel going for the slug sweep. And in the end, after a juggle or two, Ryan Scott holds on in the end. He's a safe pair of hands out there, Ryan Scott. Didn't think he would have made such a mess out of it. Didn't in the end. And Sawan Patel was looking good. But similarly to Christopher Vantal, off to a start. And all of a sudden, the Empire State Titans have lost their second.
Yeah, one bad shot is all it takes. And you mentioned Scotty. He really is proving his weight in gold. You mentioned we've seen how well he's played that half century in the season opener. And right there, he makes a juggling catch, but cool as you like. And the Empire State Titans now 48 for 2. Nehal Taramella will come into the crease now at number 4 for the Empire State Titans. And as we take a look at him, this is just his second match of the season. Went for 20 in his first attempt with 2 sixes. And the Titans now, Nanan has essentially 3 dot balls. One of them, of course, this last one, the wicket, but now all of a sudden he really has changed the pace, and that's one thing I think the Philadelphians really haven't had is a decent spin attack. And now you see Nanan come here, and you've seen it pay off with this wicket, and he's going to try and get more.
Yeah, 2 huge breakthroughs from Deveshwar Prasad and Raj Nanan in the last 2 overs.
This one played off the pads, but not far enough to take a run out of this. Another good ball from Nanan. All of a sudden, the Titans having trouble finding their spots. When it's slapped to the onside, just far enough for them to eke out a single, and that is the first run surrendered off. It comes off the 5th ball of this over. And Nanan will have one more. And a much, much tidier over from Raj Nanan. Against 2 relatively fresh batters in the middle here. But again, 2 guys who you don't want to give any cookies to.
The key to success yesterday for the Empire State Titans was contributions from literally everybody that we saw with the bat and inside edge. This will be runs here. The comeback for 2. Kwame Patton Jr. is a very good runner in between the wickets. So the 50 comes up for the Empire State Titans right at the end of the 7th over. It's 51 for 2.
Back here at Clemens Park here in Hatfield, Pennsylvania, the crowd building. As we've mentioned, it is a slow trickle, but it will slowly get there as Anirudh Emanuel comes into the attack for the first time. And Taramella dabs the ball to the offside for a dot ball. Can't miss Anirudh Emanuel. We mentioned the spin attack. He'd been really one of their major spin bowlers of last season. And he pulls out of the delivery there. I'm very impressed with him, man. We know we saw him a fair bit last season, but I love him. I love that angular run-up that he has. Big swing and a miss. Another good ball from Andy Ruud Emanuel, and it looks like spin has been the thing here that has been the momentary kryptonite for this Titans batting attack.
It's quite interesting. As you see, another good delivery from Anirudh Emanuel. And it's quite interesting that you mentioned how good the spinners have been, because one of the changes for the Philadelphians was the removal of Abdul Jabbar from the playing 11. Another spinner. One of the changes came in Plunkett. This one will run away as well. A big chase on here for Derek Narayan. Gets up to it in the end, but a couple of runs to Nihal Taramella. Also, Aditya Sharma, one of the youngsters, another spinner that was left out of the side in place of Saripul Islam, another pacer. So a bit of a weakening in the spin department, and it's quite ironic that it's the spinners doing the job here for the Philadelphians.
Yeah, especially since we've been talking for the first part of this match about how the fact that this is an AstroTurf wicket, as that one is driven to the offside. It will pop. Oh, it's a misfield, and they're going to keep this one in play, and that misfield is going to cost them at least one run there. At a bit of a bobble, he did well to keep the ball in play and not surrender 4 runs. But boy, that was that's another situation you don't want to give them anything extra here, Matt.
And just as making mention of Saripul Islam, there he is running around. Yeah, did well to recover himself in the end, but just for a split second or two, it looked as if it would have gone to the boundary.
And that one is just got a piece of it. And as we see that one once again, and that ends the over with a dot ball. Just 4 runs off the over at the end of 8. They're 55 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
A lot of atmosphere here at up in Hatfield, this Philly Cricket Festival. 2 matches back-to-back. The celebration of cricket here in the Delaware Valley as Nanan comes back in for his 3rd over. And Patton with a nice cut shot through the offside, and they'll come through for a run. So sticking with spin here, going back to Nanan, who has given up... now that is 10 runs, and you see the crowd over at the intense side of the field because, Matt, there are people over there intense.
Good wordplay.
Yes.
One thing I always enjoy sharing the box with you, Brian Barish. Your wordplay is phenomenal, better than mine.
Well, at this point in my life, they're dad jokes.
So Raj Nanan into his 3rd over. We see this quite often with the Philadelphians. They tend to utilize Raj Nanan and bowl him out very quickly, especially when he's bowling well. 2.2 overs, 1 for 10 from him so far.
Great stop by Prashad there. They might hit it through him, but they won't hit it by him. And that saves a run. Oh, big appeal there for leg before. But it is leg, but it looked like just from ours it was not. It was going down leg side. So they're going to get a leg by off of that, 57 for 2. And Taramella probably, this is kind of almost sort of like a holding pattern in this part of the lineup where you see batters bat below the 100 strike rate.
Yeah, I was making the point yesterday on commentary that the Empire State Titans, the middle overs, especially in modern T20 cricket, is really a period of time that can really have an impact, good or bad, on the entire rest of the innings. You can have as good a power play as you want, but we've seen with the Empire State Titans, if you lose 1 or 2 wickets, it can certainly change and just add a little bit of pressure on. So it'll be very important for the Titans to just keep the scoreboard moving. We saw yesterday they got healthy contributions from everybody. As you mentioned before the game, everybody from the Empire State Titans struck at least 1-6, and everybody had a pretty decent strike rate, maybe aside from Dave Gandhi, who struggled a bit. But other than that, the Empire State Titans did really well to just not let up, didn't let those dot balls accumulate, and eventually they ended up getting to a big score. They'll have to do the same here today.
Yeah, you look at that scorecard from yesterday. It really is a show of efficiency, really spread across the way. And this one is hit in the air and hit deep, and it just gets by the man, and one hopping over for really threw his body at that one, but to no avail, and the over ends with a boundary. As we take a look at it once again, and you see the reaction from Nanan having given up the boundary. So that completes the 9th over of play. They are 62 for 2.
After 9 overs, the score is 62 runs for 2 wickets.
So 62 for 2, as the festival today has brought fans of all number of legs to this match, as Patton cuts this one to the offside. 1 looking for 2, but Ryan Scott is there to say nuh-uh. And that takes Kwame Patton Jr. over to 6 as Emmanuel continues.
Kwame Patton always searching for runs. Such a good runner between the wickets. Nihal Tarimella on that occasion not interested. And we did see a boundary hit from Nihal Tarimella right at the end of the previous over. We'll be looking to do the same here to Emmanuel.
Big appeal for leg before, and that may have pitched more, actually may have been missing. The way that the trajectory of the ball was going was across the stumps. And there is a leg by out of that, 64 for 2.
So many leg byes in this inning so far. 5 leg byes already only in the 10th over, right at the halfway stage. About 7 extras conceded.
Emmanuel switching his aim of attack, and this one is lifted directly behind. They're going to get 2. It's going to be close. And in fact, they got 3 out of it, but they did get 2 out of that. No, they did get 3. That's okay. I know I have trouble counting past 2, but that was, they switched the attack there as he was going around the wicket instead of going over the wicket, and Patton deciding to try for the scoop shot. As we take a look at it again, just tried the flip. Said, listen, if you're going to come around the wicket, I'm going to try and scoop you. And a big swing and a miss there, and once again now Emmanuel, these spinners, it looks like they're flailing at it. It looks like they're trying to poke at it almost.
Yeah, it looks like they're maybe, especially maybe for Nihal Tarimella, looking to do too much. We saw Kwame Patton really just, and even Sawan Patel at the start of the innings, just play quite freely and quite elegantly. But Tarimella maybe feeling the pressure just a little bit.
Except he opens that one up and hits that one sweetly to the offside. And has gone for 4. And Tarimella, who had one in the last over, trying to get his affairs in order, and he did so nicely off of a decent ball. But dispatched all the same, Matt.
Yeah, cracking shot from Nihal Tarimella. It looks to be a very solid hit to the ball. When he connects, they've certainly flown away to the boundary. Maybe not the best bit of fielding. Shorter delivery, was looking to pull that away. Didn't get through. So in the end, Anirudh goes for 9. This was the shot earlier from Tarimella through the offside. So a good one for the Empire State Titans. It's 71 for 2 at the halfway stage.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
So welcome back, Matt. Beginning to see big crowd. That's the VIP tent. And what lovely game we have seen so far. We've seen a lot of runs scored. Not used to this on the eastern side. And yes, the grand sponsor, the Sunoco flag, flying high. A lot of gas going in the middle here. 71 for 2. Patan Jr. on strike. And gets a good ball out onto the offside. Raj Nanan coming into this over 1 for 15. How has he done?
He's done really well here as Raj Nanan has got among probably the best economy rates in the entire Eastern Division, Raj Nanan. And he's balled very tidy here again into his fourth over. Has only gone for 15.
So ball cut away into the offside. And we've seen a bit of fumble and some fielders not getting to the ball in time for the Philadelphians, not unlike this team. They've always been a top fielding side, but you get the feeling that we have seen a couple of balls run away from them.
Yeah, certainly we've seen a few lapses in the field, and that's maybe one disadvantage of playing so many games at Mercer County, where it wasn't maybe the quickest of outfields. Now they've come here to Hatfield with a zipping fast outfield, maybe a little bit of an adjustment. Can't afford to give up loose runs here at this venue.
And Matt, we've seen Taramella doesn't look to get the most basics of technique, but he's very effective. And he looks like he likes to play short, likes to go towards the onside to clear the offside in a build-up to playing one of those big shots. And we've seen a couple of fours from him already. He's been quite productive. Strike goes over back to Kwame Patan Jr. And we made mention yesterday, Kwame Patan Jr., one of the few half-centuries we've seen on this side. A play and a miss, and the ball goes through to Rajdeep Darbar, 73 for 2.
Raj Nanan, another very good over from him so far, just the 2 from it.
And Matt, essentially what will happen here, Raj Nanan will finish up. We saw him getting the wicket as Sawan Patel caught off Ryan Scott. And so he's been among the wickets. This has been a very tidy over for him. He will bowl his final ball here and finish up for the day. This over's gone pretty well. Just a couple of runs in this over. And Kwame Patan up and over into the offside. Fielder takes the catch. And another wicket goes down. Kwame Patan gone. 73 for 3.
Lofts it straight into the hands of Anirudh Emmanuel. Out there on the boundary, makes no mistake. And we've made a mention of a little bit of some lapses in the ground fielding, but the catching has still been superb from the Philadelphians. Another one on display there from the youngster Anirudh Emmanuel. And Kwame Patan, the Empire State Titans, looking to make things happen, looking to get that run rate back up on a high. Looking to go after Raj Nanan on his final ball of the day. Didn't go well for him in similar fashion to the way he was dismissed yesterday, looking to go over the offside and finds the fielder. So the third wicket goes down. Patan falls for 10. It's 73 for 3 after 11.
After 11 overs, Empire State Titans are at 73 runs for 3 wickets.
73 for 3 after 11 overs. We just saw the dismissal of Kwame Patan, Lakshmi, and Brew Coffee, two of our proud sponsors as well. Always a pleasure to have all of our sponsors and partners on board for this amazing tournament. So Javon Seals, the captain of the Empire State Titans, walks in the middle. He'll be starting at the non-strikers end. Nihal Tarimella, man on screen on strike. As we see the pace reintroduced with Wanoy Drysdale. Drysdale bowled the second over, went for 5.
So Tarimella will pick up a couple of runs. Good diving stop there from the fielder. Appears to be Raj Nanan, and things are on the way here. Drysdale for a couple of runs in the 12th over. So 75 for 3. We'll take a look at the wickets.
And Drysdale bowling at a much different stage of the game than he did in his first over. Perhaps more pressure on the Empire State Titans, having lost 3 wickets, so they've gone back to their strike bowler.
Matt, you look at Nihal Tarimella. He has a very good approach during the course of what has happened here. We'll take a look at some of the wickets to have fallen. This one, top-edged into the offside. And Derek Narain comes up with a well-judged catch. The celebration comes out. And then, of course, we saw Kwame Patan Jr. slice into the offside. And we saw a very good catch from Anirudh Emmanuel.
Interesting contest here. Drysdale to Seals, takes pace off, looking to pull away. So Seals will get through for a single to get him off the mark.
Yeah, Matt, and we have seen Seals providing very good leadership for the Empire State Titans. And not only that, he's bowled some very economical overs in between. And boy, his batting has been something that we never expected, to be honest. We've always known Javon Seals as to be one of the top line bowlers out of the Caribbean. But he's really come into this tournament and played some responsible innings. We're watching at Nihal Tarimella. Effective so far. And Drysdale will come into bowl to Tarimella. Oh, big edge. And I think he's gone. So the edge comes out. You can hear it from here. And Tarimella has to go off the bowling of Wanoy Drysdale.
That's exactly, I'm sure, the strategy here. Realizing that the Empire State Titans under a bit of pressure. Jonathan Fu turning to Drysdale and saying to him, listen, we've got this team right where we want them, under some pressure, going back to raw pace, and it's worked out in the best possible way. Drysdale comes back in. The imposing Jamaican quick gets the wicket. So Tarimella looking to take him on, looking to carve him through the offside. Gets the edge. And the 4th one goes down for the Empire State Titans. The Philadelphians are fighting back. 77 for 4.
So Aman Patel comes to the middle, 50 balls remaining. And Drysdale has picked up 1, so we've seen a wicket apiece for Drysdale. We've seen 1 from Prashad. In fact, we've seen a couple from Raj Nanan. So they got off to a good start, Matt, but we're beginning to see wickets falling here for the Empire State Titans. Oh, into the offside. Falls in front of the fielder. And Saripul Islam would have come into the side for the first time this season.
Yeah, and Drysdale, fast bowlers love their wickets. Probably felt almost a chance of a second one there. Up it straight away from Aman Patel. But this is exactly what they wanted from one-eye Drysdale. Bringing him back to add to that pressure. Just that pace alone, that tall, imposing figure running in so quick.
He will have to be rebowled. Umpire Mihir Patel comes up with a signal. Extras have gone up to 8. Surprisingly, Matt, we've seen 5 leg byes so far. And we've seen a couple of wides.
That's part of the business sometimes for a bowler like Drysdale. But I'm sure the Philadelphians probably won't mind a wide if it means Drysdale can continue to get wickets like he did with Nihal Tarimella.
So we'll come into bowl to Aman Patel. He's just come to the crease, and Patel gets a ball into the offside. This has been a quality over here from Drysdale. So 12 gone is 78 for 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 overs, Empire State Titans.
So 12 overs done, 78 for 4 for the Empire State Titans. Javon Seals and Aman Patel out in the middle. Plunkett comes back. It's gotten to this stage of the game now where Jonathan Fu has turned to his paces, and I've said the spinners have done really well just to perhaps soften the Empire State Titans a bit. We saw 4 wickets fall in quite quick succession. Went back with one-eye Drysdale, and now he's gone back to the experience in Liam Plunkett.
Yes, Matt, you're right on that. The fact is he won't have the service of Raj Nanan anymore. I think Raj Nanan would have done his job, 2 for 17 or 4. You can't complain with returns like that. And so Liam Plunkett, the experience of Liam Plunkett has been reintroduced into the attack. We saw Liam at the top of the order with a ball 2 for 20, Matt. And he's been given the ball in an important juncture of the game. Empire State Titans would really want to push on with the next 46 balls remaining. 2 relatively new batters out in the middle. So the likes of Javon Seals and Aman Patel will have to make use of the resources. A couple of good balls here, slowish ball. we have seen them so effective at the T20 level, Matt.
Yeah, his variations, his experience, he executes them flawlessly, Liam Plunkett, especially at this stage of the game. These middle overs towards the back end of an innings can be so crucial. We see it so many times in modern day T20 cricket where variation has really become a skill for pacers.
Very soft dismissal. Aman Patel gets a short one, can get out in time, can execute the shot properly. And in the end, one of the softest dismissal you'll ever seen. Aman Patel gone, and it's 79 for 5.
He plays that shot a lot, does Aman Patel, when it's just the back of a length to try and hit it straight. On this occasion, straight back into the hands of Liam Plunkett, one of the easiest catches and easiest wickets he's had in his career, I'm sure. So Aman Patel falls without scoring. Trouble continues here for the Titans. They're 5 down for 79. So there's Aman Vichy.
So Yasser Pereira comes to the middle, 79 for 5. Then he gets a short one outside the off stump. And
welcome to Philly. Yasser Pereira greeted in some fashion there from Liam Plunkett.
And we have always seen the AstroTurf to really respond to bowlers who would decide to test the deck mat. And that's a lovely ball from Liam Plunkett. This over's gone pretty well for the Philadelphians, but have picked up the wicket of Aman Patel so far. I'm wondering, is that a couple of short ball in the over? Might have been given a warning earlier on, and so we'll wait and see. No ball is the call. I thought so. And so that would have come because of the fact that he was warned in the previous short ball. And a couple of short ball, you can't do that in the modern game.
So a free hit ball here to Yasser Pereira. Chance for him to get off the mark in some style. He can hit the ball as well.
So lofted into the offside. It doesn't matter, and you can tell by the fielding approach from Ryan Scott and the other fielder. So the 13th over comes to a close. It's 81 for 5.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So 13 overs gone is 81 for 5. Sorry, Paul Islamat comes into the attack for the first time in the series. Pereira, ball outside the off stump. So sorry, Paul Islam gets his first game of this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Series.
Yep, one of 3 changes for the Philadelphians alongside Liam Plunkett and Derek Narayan coming into the side. Derek Narayan also getting his first game of the season. Abdul Jabbar, Aditya Sharma, and Shiranshu Bhatia sitting out today. And I made the point with Brian earlier on commentary. Sorry, Paul Islam has got a few to pass the outside edge of Yasser Pereira. It's quite interesting that when you look at the changes, 2 changes in Aditya Sharma and Abdul Jabbar were spinners going out for paces in Sorry Paul Islam and Liam Plunkett. And we saw in the middle overs with the likes of Rajnan and Anirudh Emmanuel that it was the spinners that really got the wickets, that really did a bit of damage.
So 3 balls outside the off stump. Very quality start from Sorry Paul Islam Ahmad. Mercer versus Hatfield. Maybe with that in mind, some selection changes.
Yeah, I think definitely, especially when you look at 2 seamers coming in Plunkett and Sorry Paul. No doubt, looking at the track, we know Astro surfaces tend to be very beneficial towards the pace. Get a good amount of bounce, but we did see the pace go for a bit of runs at the start.
So Sorry Paul has really started well. 3 dot balls. In the air, could be well away from the fielder. Sorry Paul Islam returns back, takes a well-judged catch. At one time, it was going to fall in no man's land, but Sorry Paul, what an effort to get his first wicket.
Brilliant catch from the youngster, Sorry Paul Islam. Yeah, and I'm with you. When the ball went up in the air, certainly looked as if it wasn't going to land anywhere close. It just hung in the air, and sorry for Islam, you see him taking off, and then he had to adjust and just turn to his left a little bit. In the end, settled and took a good catch. So Yassit Pereira's stay at the crease hasn't been long. He departs for one.
Yeah, look at this. Ball top-edged. We've seen Yassit Pereira struggle in this over. Well, that misery comes to an end by what an effort here from Sorry Paul Islam. No one wrong. He did it himself. 81 for 6. So Yannick Elliott walks to the middle, the off-spinning all-rounder. And we'll come into bowl to Yannick Elliott straight away. We've seen a bit of a collapse here, Matt, from the Empire State Titans. They got off to a good start. They lost their first wicket at 44. But you look at a card, what has happened? 81 for 6.
The Empire State Titans have really lost their footing here, it's fair to say. Really after the loss of Christopher Vantol and Sawan Patel, that right there, a double blow, losing those two in very quick time. And since then, the middle order hasn't been able to recover. Yannick Elliott is a man that can certainly play that type of game. But all of a sudden, there's only 38 deliveries remaining. They've gone through this innings quite quickly. He'll have to do a repair job alongside Javon Seals, who came out about 2.5 overs ago, has only faced 2 balls.
So playing amidst the tidy bowling of Sorry Paul Islam continues, and boy, has he really bowled well into this over. Now look at the effort and from Sorry Paul, walked into the side, and we'll take a look at this wicket here.
Went a long way up in the air. Sorry Paul Islam settled, took the catch brilliantly in the end. No doubt has got an extra pep in his step from that.
And if this is a legal ball, it's a maiden wicket over. What a start here from a Sorry Paul Islam to this 2023 season. 14 gone. It's 81 for 6.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So fans enjoying the festivity here at Hatfield. You're watching the Philadelphian Cricket Festival, 2nd year in a row. It's 81 for 6. The Philadelphians winning the toss, electing to bowl first, and things have gone pretty well. Yeah, they're enjoying they're enjoying the lovely weather, and they're enjoying lovely cricket here. Welcome to the Philadelphia Cricket Festival.
81 for 6. One-eyed Drysdale back into the attack. 2 overs for 10. Not to mention the music as well. Not sure for the viewers watching from home if they can hear it, but atmosphere is something you've got to experience in person. So Seals has been starved of strike for quite a bit. Has been out there for about 3 overs. That was just his 3rd ball that he's faced, and he's gotten a couple. And the Empire State Titans will probably want him to face a lot of the remaining 35 if they are to get back on course here.
Yeah, we've seen Drysdale bowl economy rate just about 5 or 6 runs and over, Matt. He's really come into his own today. Will come into bowl to Javon Seals, a fellow fast bowler. And he allows one that go through to the offside. Very important game here for both teams. We've seen the Philadelphians at the top half of the table, but they've only played 4 matches. Still a lot more for them to play. They'll play 2 today. Later on, they'll take on the New England Eagles. So much cricket here to be played at the Philadelphia Cricket Festival. Playing a miss, and the ball goes through to Rajdeep Darbar. So the paces in Drysdale, Liam Plunkett, Matt. And then we saw leg spinner Rajananan picked up 2 for 17 so far. So the bowling has really come on here for the Philadelphians with 33 balls remaining.
And the Philadelphians, one of 2 unbeaten teams in this entire minor league cricket championship, alongside the Lone Star Athletics down south, 3-0 as well. The Philadelphians 3-0 with a no result.
Yeah, this one off the pad. A bit of stifled appeal from Rajdeep Darbar, not supported by the bowler. And Matt, relative to that, we saw last year at the Philadelphia Cricket Festival up at Exton Park. Didn't go too well for the Philadelphians. They'll be hoping that they can have a complete transformation from a result standpoint.
Yep, certainly. And this season certainly looks to be the season for that. The season as a whole has been a transformation. We've seen a couple of unlucky years for the Philadelphians. They've missed out on the playoffs. This year they've started off really well. Cracking shot, but won't get much for it. Won't get anything from it, will Javon Seals. So another good over this from Drysdale.
Yeah, Drysdale has really come into his own. We saw him from the start. He bowled from the come box end, and that's our Lakshmi boot. They're all ready, Matt. Later on, we'll have to sample some of those delicious food as supplied by Lakshmi, one of the principal sponsors of this year's Sunoco sponsored 2023 Minor League Cricket Championship. And it's all happening here at Hatfield. Short pulled into the onside. The captain, Jonathan Fu, runs around, mops up a very good over here, completed by Drysdale. 15 gone. It's 84 for 6. So scorecard for you, Van Tol at the top of the order, and Sawan Patel got him off to a good start. Got 20 apiece, but we've seen the Philadelphians have really come back into their own. And 15 gone, it's 84 for 6. Welcome back, Brian Barish.
Hello, Lenny. Hello, everybody. Hey, listen, what the heck? I walk away for 5 overs and you all hog all the wickets. What the heck? But, I mean, we really are now seeing all of this. Yeah, save some for me over the next couple of overs. But we've really seen everybody kind of come into those. And if you look at the we'll take a look in a moment at the of the bowling statistics. You see how everybody has kind of spread out the wickets as Paul Islam comes back into the attack.
Oh, lovely shot. Oh, what a catch. What a catch from the fielder out in the deep. And Emmanuel comes up with a well-judged catch again. And Javon Seals is gone. Another wicket falls.
Roll the highlight film, friends. What a catch by Anirudh Emmanuel. He can bowl, and my goodness, he can field as well. And another one bites the dust as he opened up and tried to hit that one to the offside, but Anirudh Emmanuel did very, very well to get to it, and the Empire State Titans are being devoured just like they were a plate of Lakshmi rice. They are now 84 for 7.
So when that came off the bat, Brian, I thought it was going to go for a boundary, but intercepted by the safe hands of Anirudh Emmanuel. The catching for the Philadelphians have really been perfect today. We haven't seen a spill at all.
Was that one earlier? Just at that one very early would have done it. But they haven't made a mistake since, and that's the key. Is that you want to be very efficient with the fielding, because you don't want to give, especially a team that just put up 150 runs yesterday. You don't want to give them the extra anything extra out of it. As we see Sarkar heading now into the crease there. Again, the Titans with a victory, if they can perhaps come back from this, can even their record at 3-3. And that's the noise that you hear directly behind us. There are some frozen treats on display here today, or as my 3-year-old daughter would call it, the music truck.
Yeah, popular song of summer. So Sarkar comes into the middle. Soripol Islam has picked up a couple of wickets and ball left alone outside the off stump. So, Brian, we got 28 balls remaining. This is a very good comeback from the Philadelphians when we saw a quick start from the Empire State Titans.
Yeah, and the key is going to be when they come up to bat. They're going to need to follow through and complete the victory. It's all good to hold them under 100, and as we've seen earlier, a low total doesn't matter unless you can make a high total yourself.
So Islam continues to bowl extremely well. And Brian, Soripol Islam has bowled 9 balls. He hasn't conceded a run, and he's picked up 2 wickets.
Yeah, he's really been the best of the bunch so far. It's interesting, as we said, because they have so many different bowling options, they have so many different looks. It almost reminds me of in 2021 the way the Manhattan Yorkers were. But that is a real big asset, especially when they're clicking like they are today.
So ball cut away into the offside. Derek Narain will come around. Couple of runs there for Nahid Sarkar. And so that pushes them to 86 for 7, Brian. 26 to go, 26 balls remaining.
Projected score is 110, and it is definitely a different looking. We predicted on this artificial surface, we expected the pace to be a little bit faster, maybe especially the way that the opening partnership were batting. We thought it would be a little bit more freely. That doesn't appear to be the case.
And Brian, we were making the point, Philadelphians have made very quick adjustments from the track at Mercer County to a more bouncier track here at Hatfield, and so far things have really worked out well when you've taken 7 wickets.
Oh, really? I mean, you can't complain about that, especially when here we are in the 16th over, and they haven't even cracked a ton yet. So, been pretty successful.
So playing a miss again from Yannick Elliott. So the 16th over comes to a close, and after 16, it's 87 for 7.
After 16 overs, Empire State Titans are at 87 runs for 7 wickets. Nahid Sarkar and Yannick Elliott in the middle for Empire State Titans right now.
So welcome back.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
5 of them have a wicket, and Anirudh Emanuel, even though he hasn't gotten into the wickets, has been very efficient in his 2 overs so far. But Plunkett, having taken his first wicket, going to look for another one.
Oh, ball cut away. That's a lovely shot. Finds Raj Nanan, only a single. And we come down to the last 23 balls here for the Empire State Titans.
We mentioned about the importance of being able to, catch a target. You can keep the target small, but you have to be able to catch it. Remember that this is a Philadelphian side that were held to 51 earlier and won a couple of weeks ago against the Manhattan Yorkers, and won by holding them to 38. So it's one thing to hold them to a low total, but you have to do the job when you have the bat in hand.
So Yannick Elliott comes back into strike. Gets one down the leg side. Will be called a wide. Let's look at the wire. look at the extras column, Ryan. It's been quite healthy.
Yeah, it is a veritable smorgasbord of sundries. You have the one by, 5 legs, just the one no ball and 3 wides. Relatively speaking, I mean, the leg buys you can't really take a whole lot of, other than the fact that we've mentioned it, Matt and the 3 of us have mentioned it, that it seems like they're aiming towards trying to induce some of those LBWs. They're bowling in on the pads a lot.
And the fact is, Brian, this one has eluded Rajdeep Darbar. And speaking of extra, add another one to the tally. That will now go up to 11. A bit of bad bungs there for Rajdeep Darbar.
Did I curse them again? I think I may have cursed them again. That was a bouncer, and unfortunately, just got away from the wicketkeeper there. But I mean, other than that, I mean, again, it just really kind of shows the strategy that they had and how they are bowling this Titans team.
So big swing and a miss here from Sarkar. Doesn't go too well, and Liam Plunkett, other than the couple of extras in this over, has gone for 3 so far. Still tidy stuff here from the Philadelphians. And Brian, a big day for them. A couple of games for them today. We saw last year, we made mention that didn't go too well considering they hosted a big festival, but they're hoping that they'll get a turnaround of those results. Boy, and they badly need any points.
Exactly.
Oh, cut away. That's a lovely shot from Sarkar. Will only fetch him 1. The feeling has been good from the Philadelphians.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think really had let them down maybe a little bit last year. But so far, I mean, today, other than that one drop, you know, even the ones that have dropped in front of them, they've made really good efforts at. And I think that's what's helped, aside from this fantastic bowling, that's been one of the things that has helped them down to that score.
And the catch we saw that was put down by Deveshwari Prasad. Deveshwari Prasad, he's typically a reliable fielder. I was kind of surprised that he allowed one to pass through the hands, Deveshwari Prasad.
Yeah, that's one that he normally takes, and especially in good conditions like this, that was a bit of a surprise. But again, we've talked about the unforced errors, and again, the team that has played so well this season and can put up a big total, they haven't given them too many extra wickets and too many extra runs.
So this over's gone pretty well from Plunkett into the offside. That will complete the 17th over, Brian. It's 92 for 7. So Brian, we'll take a look at that earlier on. And this would have been one of the only blemish on a very good work done by the Philadelphians. So the 17th over comes to a close.
I think there's one more ball, Lenny. Yeah, this is the 6th ball of the over. As we said, let's take a look at some of the crowd here in Hatfield. As we mentioned, it is building, and it is on essentially for young and old. As we've mentioned, a lot of veteran fans and a lot of newer fans watching cricket. In some cases, watching it live for the first time.
So ball popped up into the offside, and now Prashad comes up and does the right thing. He takes the catch. It's 92 for 8.
He's been vindicated, absolutely, as the ball popped up in the air, easy as you like, and Plunkett finishes his spell for this match with 2 wickets off of 29 balls, and there you see it again. All he had to do was step forward, can a corn catch, and he puts it away. And that ends the 17th over, and the Empire State Titans find themselves 93 for 8. 3 overs remaining in this innings for the Empire State Titans, and you take a look at the aptly named Manhattan chart, except that's Empire State, but that's where Manhattan is. That's okay. You see how well they did in the power play, really actually how well the Philadelphians did, holding them to under 8 and over, except for that third one where they exploded for 14. But ever since, they have done no better than 9 as Prashad comes back into the attack, and this first one to Yannick Elliott is fisted off to the onside, and they'll scamper through for a single 94 for 8. Prashad in his third over, having taken 1 for 14. As the Empire State Titans on a collision course for 110, going at 5.5 runs and over. And it's been a story of the spin giving way to good bowling by Liam Plunkett and the rest of the pacemen. Big swing and a miss there, and Stenakun with a big whiff at that one. Well, the bowling has been pretty tidy here over the last few overs in this really where it's been needed the most. Steps forward and hits this one to the offside. They'll scamper through for a single, and Stenakun off the mark. Or rather, that's Shan Tenakun. 95 for 8. Brian Barish alongside Lenny Achaibar. Matthew Achaibar here as well. Absolutely beautiful day in the northern suburbs of Philadelphia.
So Elliott will get a single into the onside. And we come down to the last remaining 14 balls, Brian. 96 on the board. They'll definitely get to the 3-figure mark. The question is, what do they do with 14 balls remaining?
Yeah, and the thing is with something like this, you can only really play what you're delivered. But I feel like they need to try and get double-digit runs. That has to be the aim here.
So slice into the offside. We'll only get one as Anirudh Emmanuel. He's really been, in fact, might have been Derek Narain and Anirudh Emmanuel out in the offside. And so no harm done. Yannick Elliott comes back into strike, Brian. This over's gone pretty well for Prashad. Only 5 runs in this over so far. Into the onside. We'll get an easy single. Ryan Scott. He's gonna relish the opportunity to bat on this pitch. We'll talk about that. 98 for 8 at the end of 18.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Twelve balls remaining in the Empire State Titans over, and you see the worm, and you see the spread of the wickets. Really, 1 wicket every over, with the exception of 1 since from the 11th all the way to the 17th.
So Drysdale comes back into the attack, and Yannick Elliott takes this one out of the playing area, and that's gone for a maximum.
Oh, beautiful strike by Yannick Elliott. And Drysdale, who has been, as that does take them to their ton, and they have finally hit the 100, and they would have liked to have done it a little bit earlier than 18.1 overs in, but done with authority by Yannick Elliott.
Yeah, it's a lovely result to the shot. Not every shot, Brian, you can have full control of, but sometimes they go for big, amounts. And Yannick Elliott comes down the track, doesn't go too well, and the ball goes through to Rajdeep Darbar. Wide is the call. So we've got 11 balls remaining. Not a good start to the 19th here from Drysdale. In a couple of balls, he's given up 7 runs, Brian.
Yeah, they were eyeing 110, the Philadelphians, to try and keep them to, and that number has gone up a little bit. Now it's 114, but they would need to keep them under 120 here, you would think.
So ball into the offside, and we come down to the last 10 balls, 106 for 8. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the Philadelphians would have pulled this back to 106, considering we saw in the earlier part, after 5 overs, they were batting a 42 without loss.
Yeah, and that really shows how well this Philadelphians bowling attack is in those middle overs, especially like in the second half. They've really turned it on, picking up, as we mentioned, 4 wickets, and here they are now on the precipice of holding them down to what should be a relatively attainable target.
Oh, ball them. So that's the end of Tanakoon, cleaned up by Drysdale. He picks up his 2nd wicket. It's 106 for 9.
What a beautiful ball by Drysdale there. And oh my goodness, this is what they can do here. And that is a huge wicket, especially with Tanakoon and Elliott trying to do what the closers had done yesterday. And here it is again. This one, I think he was expecting this one to come in more towards the pads, but in fact it cleans up leg and middle. So Tanakoon has to go for 2. 1 wicket remaining, 9 balls remaining. The Titans 106 for 9. So former Philadelphian Varun Mantha will be the last one in. The youngster from New Jersey is in at number 11 with 9 balls remaining in the Empire State Titans innings. And Wanai Drysdale, who has given up a 6, has more importantly gotten a wicket in this innings.
Yes, Brian, we saw very good bowling performance also from Soripol Islam. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 2 wickets for 3 runs. And so Mantha comes into strike, and Drysdale abort takeoff. It's 106 for 9.
It can't be stressed how beautiful a day this is, Lenny. And we met a decent crowd building up mostly to our left here. A few people directly across from us.
And the fact is, Brian, you look over that side. I know our viewers can't see that, but it reminds me a little bit of Exton Park.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. A little less buildings than, more buildings than Exton Park. But, yeah, very twee. Liam Plunkett, when I was talking to him last year, he loved playing at Exton because it reminded him of the Midlands in England where he's from.
So Varun Mantha, with 9 balls remaining, will face up to Drysdale. 2 for 21 so far from Drysdale. Man that comes out of the local club in New York, Westbury, one of the top clubs there, Brian. Yep, the crowds are all seated and they're ready for the excitement and the drama. And if they're coming here to back the Philadelphians, they'll settle for nothing else, Brian, than 4 points today.
Oh, absolutely. And if they do that, they'll be clear on points with 11. They'll be 1 point ahead of the New Jersey Stallions with 2 games in hand. Yeah, so it looks like Drysdale is done with an injury. No mas, he says. So we'll see who they bring in to bowl these last 2 bowls of the over with 6 bowls left. It will be Soripol Islam, who has already bowled 2. He has a wicket maiden in here, 2 wickets for just 3 runs, and he will bowl out the last 3 balls of this over. And that is a little bit of a concern for this Philadelphian side, especially with 1 more game still coming today. Again, if you're back with us at about 2:15, 2:30 local time, the Philadelphians will be facing the New England Eagles, a team that currently on percentage sits in 3rd place with a even record of 2-2. And you see Drysdale there, might be a hamstring of some sort. He's coming off. And
yeah,
again, a concern, Lenny.
Yes, Brian, but he's done a job. 2 for 21. Would have picked up the wicket of Tarimella And also, not too long ago, that of Sean Tenakoon. So, sorry, Paul Islam will bowl 3 balls in this over. And here's a little question for you, Brian. I know I'm catching you on air. Whose over this will belong to?
Whose over will this belong to? This is a statistical question. You're gonna get the noob on rules here. It would be that's a good question with 3 and 3. I would say it's probably the one who finishes. Then it would be his.
The scorecard will read Drysdale bowled.
So 8 in this over so far. And Manta chases us one outside the off stump. Called a wide. Will have to be rebowled. Umpire Ritesh Patel. A couple of Patels are officiating. Mihir Patel and Ritesh Patel.
And there's a third one as our third as well. And if you didn't hear the answer that Matt gave behind us, it will belong to both bowlers. It should anyway. Yeah, it's different from baseball where it ends up being whoever the last one is. Yeah, no, they definitely get called for 3 each.
So ball cut away, but not too far. Can't run. And so tidy. Well, a good over here from Paul Islam. The latter part, his part, because we saw.
I think tidy is. I guess it would be tidy as tidy as my living room after my 3-year-old is done with her toys. It's kind of scattered all over the place. But I mean, listen, they got a wicket. That's the most important part, and really forced them down to the bottom of the tail with now 7 balls remaining.
So play the miss, caught behind. So that's the end of the innings. Yes, it is. 109 all out. 109 all out. Manta goes, caught behind. And it's 109 for 10 wickets.
And that's about as well as he could bowl. And yeah, as you mentioned, Lenny, a huge, huge fight back from this Philadelphian side in the second half. Just when it looked like the Titans were going to cruise after playing so well in the power play, they get 8 of those wickets in the last 10 overs and bowl out the Empire State Titans for 107 with both Islam and before that Drysdale each splitting the duties here and each taking a wicket in this final one. But 1 in the 11th from Nanan, 1 from Drysdale in the 12th, Plunkett in the 13th, Islam in the 14th, Islam again in the 16th, Plunkett again in the 17th, and then the 2 here. And that's been the story. The Empire State Titans bowled out for 107 with 6 balls in the pocket.
Yes, what an important work done here by the Philadelphians, and you're right on that, Brian. They pulled the game back somewhat, and not only were able to contain the Empire State Titans, they took wickets, and look at that. All 10 wickets they've taken, 107, not a big score here from the Empire State Titans.
Not at all, and this was definitely a different innings than the innings that they played yesterday up in Mercer against the Manhattan Yorkers. Savan Patel did end up with the high watermark again, but only with 22. And we talked about every player hitting all of the sixes, each player hitting at least 1 6 in that game yesterday. Here the Philadelphians surrender that one that we just had here at the end to Yannick Elliott. As we take a look at the match summary, 22 runs for Patel, but look at those bowling numbers. Paul Islam ends 3 for 4 from 2.5 overs. Unbelievable. Nanan 2 for 17. Drysdale 2 for 21. 14 extras hopefully won't be the difference if you're a Philadelphian. But at the innings break, the Empire State Titans 107. So the Philadelphians, in order to win and keep their record unblemished, will need a target of 108. We're going to step aside, take a breath, take a break. We hope you will as well, and hope you'll come back when we get the second innings underway. The Philadelphians chasing down 108. You're watching the 2023 minor league cricket season presented by Sunoco here on the MLC Network.
Good morning. So good start here from Liam Plunkett already. Big slice outside the off stump off the bat of Christopher Van Tol. And the East and the Empire State Titans, they're on. So ball cut away. Lovely shot off the bat of Christopher Van Tol. And that has got bowling in this game. But in this tournament, lovely shot from Sawan Patel. And that has gone away with... Oh, that's a lovely shot off the bat of Sawan Patel, a classic of a drive. And that's 4 more runs for the... Up and over. That's a lovely shot from Christopher Vantal on his... And they're off to a very good start here. Oh, lofted over the infield. And there we go, 1 bounce again from Sawan Patel. That's
see that this was happening and are getting around it, and that's what we like to see.
So ball chopped into the offside. Oh, put down. It appears to be Devish. So ball cut away. That's a lovely shot from Christopher Vantal. And look at that, punch through the covers area. And
big swing, this one's up in the air, looking for it, and taken. It is Derek Narine who makes the catch, and Vantal just
gone straight to the man. Commentator's curse, unfortunately, Brian.
That's the way. And this one is hit in the air and hit deep, and it just gets by the man and one hopping over.
Just a little bit.
Except he opens that one up and hits that one sweetly to the offside. And has gone for 4.
Over. And Kwame Patan up and over into the offside. Fielder takes the catch. And another wicket coming to bowl to Tarimella. Oh, big edge. And I think he's gone. So
from a skill for paces.
Very soft dismissal. Arman Patel gets a short balls. In the air, could be well away from the fielder. Sorry, Paul Islam returns back, takes a well-judged catch.
Back into the attack.
Oh, lovely shot. Oh, what a catch. What a catch from the fielder out in the deep. So ball popped up into the offside. And now, so Drysdale comes back into the attack. And Yannick Elliott takes this one out of the playing area.
And attainable target.
Oh, balled him. So that's the end of Tanakoon. So Pliname is caught behind. So that's the end of the innings. Yes, it is. 109 all out. 100 and...
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
picture from our official partner Brew, and gifted picture from Lakshmi Brew.
Teams are on the field for the second half of this game. The Empire State Titans setting a target for the Philadelphians of 108. And if the Philadelphians want to pick up their fourth win of this minor league cricket season for 2023, that's what they're going to have to chase down. And they'll be sending out a couple of experienced batsmen who will try to get that chase off to a flying start. Brian Barish alongside Matthew Achaibar to take you through the first 5 overs of this run chase. The Philadelphians so far this season, Matt, in the 3 times that they have played here, they have had varying degrees of difficulty in taking out different wins, but you would tend to think that the Philadelphians would be pretty happy licking their chops as if they were in front of a bowl of Lakshmi rice waiting to chow down on this target of 108.
I'm sure they will, in particularly the man who will be on strike, Ryan Scott. We saw, even despite the difficulty at Mercer County, we saw Ryan Scott on the first game of the season for the Philadelphians able to go out there and smash the ball to all places and get himself a half century. On this surface, you feel with a bit more bounce, a bit more carry, and a quicker outfield, you feel if Ryan Scott can get going, 108 is no target for the Philadelphians. But the Empire State Titans have done quite well with their bowling, especially the captain, who will be kicking things off in the form of Javon Seals, a man who has led from the front for the Empire State Titans. And this will be an interesting battle straight away. A West Indian contest all around. Javon Seals from Barbados, Ryan Scott from Jamaica, and Derek Narayan at the other end from Guyana.
Searles and Sean Tennakoon share the wicket leading honors for this Empire Titans squad. 8 wickets apiece. Searles 8 for 88 for an economy rate of 4.89. Ryan Scott, who is the only half century for this Philadelphians team in this season of 2023 when he made 51 in the opener, as Matt alluded to. And he starts things off with a nice cut to the offside, and he is off the mark on the very first ball of the innings. Scott, 72 runs coming in, has netted 8 4s and 5 6s so far. As the conditions, as we mentioned, if you're just joining us here in Hatfield, PA, first time that Clemens Park has hosted minor league cricket. And the crowd here at this Philly Cricket Festival coming on in and getting set for a lovely day, first of 2 matches. Again, cut, but this time right to a fielder. There is no run. And what a pickup Scott has been. I mean, even though he's only had the 1/2 century so far in the first 3 games, I mean, the batting has been very difficult on that flubber of a pitch, so to speak, up in New Jersey, but he looks to add a lot here.
Yeah, Ryan Scott. You can see why the Philadelphians went all in to pick up Ryan Scott ahead of this season, especially losing Milind Kumar to the Lone Star Athletics was always going to be a big loss. But Ryan Scott has come in, and the first game spoke for itself.
Oh, big swing and a cut. A good ball by Searles, and the runs are not going to come cheaply against him. A good ball that had Scott bamboozled.
Good take from behind the stumps as well from Christopher Van Tol. Javon Searles has bowled very well.
This is his 31st match in minor league cricket. And that will be given as a wide as that one went too far down the leg side. First sundry surrendered by the Titans. Just looking at his history here, Ryan Scott formerly played for the Michigan Cricket Stars, so one of the rare cross-conference transfers. Of course, we're seeing that a lot more now with players heading out for Major League Cricket duties. Lovely shot. Stopped by the fielder, however, and that prevents more runs from being taken, and Derek Narayan is off the mark. Gets his first run through without loss with 2 balls remaining. And Scott, his highest score so far playing with Michigan was he made a 118 century in 2021, one of 2 centuries that he made that season. And alongside Derek Narayan, who knows his Philadelphia's team well, it's a pretty good opening partnership.
Yeah, a change at the top as well, bringing in Derek Narayan. We did see Rajdeep Darbar open the batting. Derek Narayan back into the side for the first time this year. Has had a bit of a mixed bag in his 2-year career with the Philadelphians.
Played nicely and deep, and one bounce. And over for a boundary, and a great job there by Ryan Scott, who in fact has gone all the way for 6. That's a beautiful shot, and that's a little sample of what he can do.
Ryan Scott is so destructive, especially in the power play. Doesn't need any invitation to go big, especially with 2 fielders only allowed outside the circle. That's even more playing into the hands of a batter like Ryan Scott.
Licking his lips when he sees that opportunity. Final ball of this first over from Javon Searles. Calling, looking for the catch, but the umpire didn't hear a snick on that one. And that ends the first over. 9 off of it, 6 balls in the books. Philadelphians 9 without loss.
Have another look at the 6. Helicopter-like from Ryan Scott. Angled into the pads and flicked away brilliantly. Nice use of the wrists there. 9 for none after 1.
So Varun Mantha will head into the attack for the first time. Kick off the second over. Mantha, former Philadelphian from a season ago. And they are excited in this Eastern Division circle about the prospect of this young man. And he looks to bring a pretty good pace attack. It's worth mentioning, we were talking about the openers for the Philadelphians last year, Matt, and I remember it took them half a season really to settle upon an opening pair that would give them any sort of purchase. And finally, you mentioned about how much they missed how much they missed Milan Kumar. He was finally him who put himself in the attack, and once they did that, they really got things going in terms of their opening batters. And unfortunately, he's not around, so they've had to find a solution pretty quick, and they have with Scott.
Two very attacking players, Derek Narayan and Ryan Scott. Not afraid to go after them very early. So a test here for the young Varun Manta.
And a nice ball to start things off. Just whizzed by the off stump. Matched by the whizzing bat of Derek Narayan. And the key for the Titans, you would think, is to keep them in the oval. Keep these two especially, and try and strike as quickly as you can, so that uphill, that climb becomes steeper and steeper uphill.
There's Rajdeep Dabar, the man looks to be heading in next. Normally opens the batting. This one down the ground. Work here for Kwame Patton Jr. And this does very well, I think, just to pull it back in the end. They'll come back for 3. That's really good running between Ryan Scott and Derek Narayan, and a good bit of sprinting pulled out there by the athletic as ever, Kwame Patton Jr.
You know, we mentioned this crowd here today, Matt, and we mentioned there was a lot of people who are relatively new to cricket. You don't need to completely understand the sport to understand hustle. Great job by the two in the middle to scratch out 3 runs, but an even better job by Kwame Patton Jr. to dig in and prevent the boundary. Even if it was essentially only 1 run he was saving, he never gave up on that ball.
It's a good shot as well from Derek Narayan, straight down the ground. Good cricket all around. It's what we've come to expect here at the Philly Cricket Festival.
And as we've mentioned it a few times, you couldn't ask for a better day. As we said, temperatures in the 70s Fahrenheit, supposed to top out at around 82, 83. It's a beautiful day really for doing anything. But we're glad that so many people have decided to come by. And as we mentioned, we'll be here for a few hours with the second game against the New England Eagles coming up immediately after this one. The only matches today in the Eastern Division. And this one is smacked high and hard. And there's 4 more to the total off of Ryan Scott. And he is showing his prowess at chasing those balls.
Too much width from Varun Manta, and you cannot bowl there to Ryan Scott. Giving him an easy opportunity to just free the arms and just get it up and over. Easy pickings for Ryan Scott, and so far this chase looks like easy pickings for the Philadelphians. Up to 16 just halfway through the second over.
It looks like that's where Mantha is trying to bowl the left-hander. Scott is in that 4th stump area, 4th, 5th stump area, and he might need to change his mind because they are making quick work as we look. Hey, they've got a fan. That's such a great idea. They got one of those little desk fans. I'm easily amused.
This one away down the leg side here from Ryan Scott. Yannick Elliott comes around, so that'll be 2 more leg byes to the total. So Varun Manta went a little bit too wide outside off, and that one a little too wide down the leg side. Ryan Scott, even a little bit of a touch on the pad.
I might have to camp out there in front of that fan. The fan isn't on, but still, that's a great idea. Yeah, and that's the thing. Mantha, I think, is still kind of getting settled. This, by the way, is his first go bowling this season, so might be a little bit of just the jitters in terms of finding his spot. But you know, we saw it in the last innings with the Philadelphians bowling, and a couple, especially that last over with Drysdale there. The way that, you know, sometimes you give up a lot of those big crooked numbers, but it all changes if you can come back and get a wicket, and that's what Mantha's looking at. As Scott steps in from the left side, and here comes Mantha from over the wicket. And that one again is pulled nicely. Oh, just gets by the fielder. They were going for 1 the entire time, and that not a bad idea. It's one of those where you start to go maybe about 30% down the track, and then you can back up easily, but they get a break there off the misfield.
Very awkward bounce, catching the fielder there. Always tough for those. I think Nahid Sarkar.
A lot of yellow and black, which is great to see. Their hometown Philadelphians playing 2 games today. Oh, shot. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful shot on the onside, and that one has gone for a boundary. And another one by Derek Narain, another 4 to the total. And that's the end of the second over. The Philadelphians on cruise control so far. As we look at it again, Matha trying to bowl that one wide, but Narain having absolutely none of it, driving that one sweetly to add 4 more to the total. 2 complete. Philadelphians 23 without loss. Still plenty of cricket to be played here in the second innings, but the Philadelphians off to a flyer here, 11.5 run rate with the early return on 4.72. But still plenty of balls to be bowled as Searles comes back into the attack, having given up 9 in his first over. Big swing and a miss, but the ball was judged to be too wide. Searles gives up another extra. That seems to be the strategy here. They seem to be wanting to be bowling them outside the wicket, and I think the Philadelphians have picked that up. You could tell by the swing there by Scott. I think he was expecting it there.
Angled into the pads on that occasion, and certainly seems to be the strategy. The only problem is you run the risk of conceding a lot of wides, which with only 107 on the board, you can't afford to concede too many extras. So they'll have to get that razor-thin margin. They'll have to get every bit of precision they can.
Yeah, you got to bowl a lot tighter than how they've been bowling so far. But again, if you're expecting, you feel like the way that they're swinging, even the ones that are missing, they're expecting that. Call for a catch. This one going back. It's going to 2-hop call all the way to the rope for 4. A great hustle by the fielder there. But, in fact, it was just too good. And that's 4 more runs off the bat of Ryan Scott, 24 without loss, or 28 without loss.
Yeah, big top edge from Ryan Scott, bouncing away in front of Sarkar. And another boundary here to the Philadelphians. They are on the charge, looking to finish this one early, get themselves a bit more rest, and wait for the New England Eagles.
Yeah, the game starts, that second game starts in a little less than 2 hours, and they figure the quicker they can get 108, the quicker they can go back, have a breath, get some nutrients into their system, and get set to finish out this day. And perhaps, if they can finish the job here, put themselves in a position to overtake the New Jersey Stallions for first place in this Eastern Division. Searles in around the wicket. Off the legs there to the onside. They'll come through for another single as Scott goes to 17. And Scott doing very, very well here. And here again is that top edge directly over. And just, it's one of those where part of it is skill and part of it is just sheer luck, because that comes in maybe about 10 feet closer. He's on his way back to the dugout.
So Derek Narain back on strike. We saw him hit a beautiful 4. Javon Seals has gone for 6 in this over, still only halfway through it. 11.6 and over. Very nicely played, elegantly played. Sarkar in play again. and won't get there again this time either. Outfield is so quick. And Derek Narayan, that's all it takes. Just elegantly played, just dabbed it down and let the outfield here at Hatfield do the rest.
If it was any more elegant, there would be a chandelier hanging over and we'd be eating filet mignon. That is, I mean, he is just really showing his worth here as we take a look at it one more time. Again, they're aiming for that offside, for the offside wicket, for the essentially that fourth wicket line, and that is where they're just making very little mistakes on that, and you see a beautiful cut for 4 more runs.
And I'm not so sure that's really a strategy I would go with, because Derek Narayan and Ryan Scott are both very strong on the offside. And if you give them width, Derek Narayan, you saw it there, there wasn't even that much width. Derek Narayan was still able to make enough room and just guide it down and still was able to pick up 4. They're both very strong on the offside, so an interesting strategy here from the Titans to just try and push them wide when clearly they've gone for 33 and 2.4 overs. It hasn't worked.
Be interesting to see if they go back to Manther or they change up the attack after this over. And this one is golfed down the ground. They'll come through for 1 and they'll hold. And this time going a little bit more Yorker length on the stumps. And Narayan goes to 13-34 without loss with 1 more ball left in this 3rd over. And Matt, 34 runs halfway through the power play here, and that is, I mean, they are really, really humming. They're putting themselves, let's put it this way, as we said, there's still 17 plus overs left, but this is you have to think of the power play as the foundation of a house. And if you don't have a good foundation, chances are the house is going to fall. Well, 34 runs off of 17 balls to start is a pretty darn good foundation.
Here's one from Javon Seals, making Ryan Scott take evasive action. Hens the over off on somewhat of a high. 34 for none after 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So look at the warm chart. The Philadelphians very quickly, well, not sure the viewers can hear it, but the DJ blasting "Follow the Leader." And that is certainly what the Philadelphians are doing at the moment. And at the current rate, they're overtaking the Empire State Titans. You mentioned the power play being the foundation of a house. Well, sometimes not necessarily up in the east, but certainly maybe out west. A lot of earthquakes, a lot of tremors can bring even the most sound of structural integrity into question. That was certainly what the Philadelphians bowlers did. And the Philadelphians will be hoping, even with a good power play start, they don't collapse like the Empire State Titans did in the middle.
We had earthquakes on the East Coast too, Matt. I don't think you might be too young for the Great Quake of 2011. Half of our lawn chairs fold over. It took us a whole 2 hours to pick them back up. But yeah, I mean, they really, really are thumping here in the early going. And I'll tell you what, we mentioned about how there's been kind of a lack of scoring across the way. And I just lost my screen. Otherwise, I would tell you, we were keeping an eye on some of the other scores. The Dallas Mustangs in their game have put up 214 runs in their innings. So it's not all doom and gloom if you're a batter. As Yannick Elliott comes into the attack. Cries of catch, but it gets by the fielder. They get through for a single. It'll be interesting to see what Yannick Elliott's approach is to batting here. As we said, they've been aiming towards that off stump. See if they've changed it up.
Ryan Scott back on strike. I do like the idea of a spinner coming in, especially Yannick Elliott. Gives the ball a lot of flight. Able to execute a lot of turn, but as you mentioned, the Astro wicket. It's not Mercer, it's not Glenville. So it'll be interesting to see, especially still so early on in the innings, how much Yannick Elliott is able to get out of the surface. Cut away again from Ryan Scott. This is another boundary. It's one of those shots where no man moved except the fielder that has to go and retrieve the delivery, that has to go and retrieve the ball. And Ryan Scott powers his way up to 21 off 11 deliveries. And Yannick Elliott, the plan of bringing the spin on hasn't quite worked out. But when Ryan Scott is in this mood, I'm not sure there's many on the East Coast that can bowl to him.
Strong and clean. That's how he's been so far in getting to 21. Well, he punches this one to the onside, and just not enough to get a run out of that as we take a look at this 4 again. And you see, again, they're trying to go a little bit too wide, and Scott is there to open up his stance. And those prospective cricket players, that's about making that adjustment and making it work.
Swept away and all the way from Ryan Scott. Yannick Elliott, we mentioned how much flight he gives the delivery, but maybe it's just giving Ryan Scott too much time to make up his mind and pick his spot. And that's exactly what he's doing. Execution to perfection. What a slug sweep from Ryan Scott.
I was just thinking, Matt, that, unlike Exton Park, where you've got all of these brambles and bushes and everything like that, it would take a mighty shot to hit that one into the vegetation, and Ryan Scott may very well have done that there. He got down there, and it was a loopier ball from Yannick Elliott, but my goodness, Scott said, listen, if you're going to throw that junk to me, I'm going to deposit that somewhere in the nether regions of deepest, darkest Hatfield, as you see again, almost going down onto his right knee to do so and sending that one away quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, and Ryan Scott wasting very little time.
So he goes on to 27. The Philadelphians with 2 balls left as they are waiting to retrieve that one, and I have the feeling that they might be bringing out the box of onions to wrench out a new one, as that one may be lost to forever and ever, amen. But we mentioned some of the other games that are going on. There's 3 games going on right now, Matt. In fact, there's 4 games going on right now. Also, down in the Southern Division in the Atlantic Conference, yeah, I just mentioned that, Baltimore and Atlanta Lightning. But how about Dallas and the Dallas Mustangs and the Chicago Tigers? As we look at Dallas, 214 for 5, and we bring it up here now. Corey Anderson, 95, the high scorer there, the New Zealand international. Andres Hoos with 69. What a pickup he's been a year after winning the championship with Seattle. That's part of that giant mix-up we've seen with Major League Cricket coming into play. And, yeah, absolutely, some big score. But here is that 4 that we just saw once again. And, again, bowling the ball outside, that's where they're aiming for it. And the Philadelphian batters, both Narine and Scott, doing a good job of opening up their stance and cutting it to the offside.
So Yannick Elliott has perhaps flighted the ball a little too much, giving Ryan Scott a lot of time. Just shows a bit of respect to him on that occasion, does Scott. And you mentioned Corey Anderson, how destructive he was down south. Ryan Scott could be making a case for himself.
They'll get another run off of that to the offside. And that completes the over. 4 in the books. The Philadelphians chasing 108 or 46 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
.46 without loss after 4 overs. Ryan Scott on 28, Derek Narine on 14. Another bowling change. Yassit Pereira into the attack, into the power play. Starts off with a good delivery. Ryan Scott looking to pierce the gap, unable to do so.
The book on Pereiras, we said it's a good day for doing everything. It's also a good day for bike riding.
Up and over from Ryan Scott again. And this will be another boundary. Ryan Scott is in a mood today. 50 comes up for the Philadelphians. We've just started the 5th over. And Ryan Scott is wasting no time. They're almost already halfway through to their total. 50 on the board, 58 more to win. And Ryan Scott and Derek Narayan are making it look very, very easy here for the Philadelphians.
They know they have another game coming up, and they want a little bit of a break in between it because they know they have a very good team lurking in the New England Eagles.
Pumped away again. This one over the head of Kwame Patton, who helplessly watches as Ryan Scott hangs back and pumps another one over the tent. And the Philly fans getting a bit of a treat, maybe a bit too close to comfort that 6 from Ryan Scott.
Duck. But what a shot. He turned that one in, and just looking at that one, Matt, it looked like that may have been a little bit too far in. He almost hit that office, that desk fan that was sitting in that tent, but my goodness gracious, he is really, really putting on a clinic for new and old fans here in Philly.
Goes again, this one down the ground, and don't even bother when Ryan Scott strikes them. They stay hit straight down the ground. 6 more, and Ryan Scott has hammered his way up to 44 of just 90 deliveries, his 4th 6 of the day. And Yasset Pereira, it hasn't been much of a change of fortune, it's fair to say, for him.
His batting game has been stronger than a garlic milkshake, Ryan Scott. Look at him. Look at that extension. He is just hanging back, waiting, all the patience in the world, and he deposits that one deep into the grass, and we're sending out a search party. He may have hit that one over that fence. I didn't realize there was a fence out there. They might have to send somebody to scale after it. But my word, what a shot. What a shot. We're going to see it one more time here.
This was the first 4. This was just a chain reaction of boundaries in this over. That was just the beginning. Ryan Scott, since then, back-to-back 6s.
As we see, they're giving out they're giving out free merch. We see Emily there. Oh, and Malcolm. And here once again is those 6s. That was that one that went down the track. You see that they have switched the attack now. It does look like they're trying to bowl him in on his pads, but Ryan Scott said, bowl me east, bowl me west, I'll bowl you down, I'll hit you downtown. And as we said, 62 without loss. Just to give you an idea, at the end of the 5th over, they were the Titans were 42 without loss. As we see more hats. I said shirts. There's hats being given out by Emily. She's pretending she's Oprah Winfrey for a moment.
Well, it is called Hatfield for a reason. Quite
Very
fitting.
good.
And right there is the Derek Narayan fan club. You see the likes of the majestic players in a line there, all cheering on their man Derek Narayan, who has looked good, but in this over he's got the best seat in the house to watch Ryan Scott 22 yards down the other end.
He really does. I mean, when you've got a guy who's hitting as well as Ryan Scott has, that's really, I mean, that's the best place to be, is just on the other side, bat in hand, just like, look, bro, do your thing. Comes down the ground this time, and if this was a true Philly crowd, they'd be booing him because he only got a 1 out of it. But he goes on the 45, and now Derek Narayan will be pressed into action. As we said, we were over talking to that couple earlier. This is their first cricket match. And again, there's a great chance, if you've never seen cricket before, this Philly Cricket Festival is a great opportunity.
Sliced away from Derek Narayan. This should run away for 4. And the Derek Narayan fan club to the left of us goes up in joy. A big over, 21 runs from it, from Yasset Pereira. A bit unfortunate, that one for the bowler, but still Derek Narayan with a healthy enough slice. And on this outfield, no protection. That's 4 all day.
And that's it. And that ends the 5th over. Lenny Chaibar will be with you. The Philadelphians rolling along 67 without loss.
67 runs from the opening 5 overs. There's still 1 over left in the power play. And where do the Empire State Titans go here? 13.4 and over. 41 runs to win from 90 deliveries. I don't really think it's a question. I think it's perhaps now how much rest in between games do the Philadelphians give themselves.
Yes, Matt, we've seen a top quality start from the Philadelphians. And we talked about how well. You take a look at the chart here, and the red, of course, is the Philadelphians. We are beginning to see bigger buildings.
And last time I checked, the Empire State Building was in New York.
So Sarkar comes back into the attack, starts pretty well. Can we see another half century from Ryan Scott, Matt? Very elite group of people who would have done that from the East.
Certainly. And Ryan Scott can be the first man, I believe, on the East Coast to get 2 half centuries on 45. But I've jinxed Sawan Patel yesterday. I'll try not to do it again to Ryan Scott.
So chasing at the ball outside the off, some called a wide, and so now it comes down to 40 to win. From 8 and 9 deliveries, Matt. We made the point that the Philly Cricket Festival, 2nd year running, we saw last year it didn't go too well for the Philadelphians. It's not good when you're hosting a big grand event that you lose a couple of games. They want to turn that around this year. And so far, they've done pretty well. I don't see, to be honest, I don't see the Philadelphia losing this one. They're on 7 points. Just ahead of them is the New Jersey Stallions. So a win for this game will put them on 9 points. They still have 1 more game today.
So Nahid Sarkar, new addition to the Empire State Titans lineup, has come into the attack here. Ryan Scott is on 45. And you're right on that. 40 more to win from 88 with all the wickets in hand with Ryan Scott and Derek Narayan. Hard to see anything other than a Philadelphians win from here.
Yeah, this has been I was going to say not a bad over here from Sarkar, but he's bowled a couple of wide, so those will have to be rebowled. In the meantime, Ryan Scott is just looking for balls that he could really plunder. He's really batted impressively well. 4 4s and 4 6s, Matt.
And is that one way to tame the beast? Ball wide enough so he can't hit it. Seems to be the only way of stopping Ryan Scott at the moment. Only problem is that it comes at the expense of giving up extra runs.
So this one through the offside. Protection in the deep. It appears to be Taramella. And a single to Ryan Scott, so he goes up to 46. 4 6s for him, man, Ryan Scott.
And these with 2 of them struck in the previous over off of Yasser Pereira. That one too short, a drag down. Hammered away, look out in the tent. And this one, you can pitch it up, and it'll be the same result straight down the ground. Ryan Scott. And here's Derek Narayan now back into action after some bit of time.
Yeah, Derek Narayan is one of the top batters in the East. We'll have a busy weekend next week, Matt, in New York as playoff time. And in fact, finals time actually next week.
Yeah, part of the 2 finals on Saturday and Sunday with the Majestic brand, or the Spartans brand, as they're known, has made a big splash in the New York National League. One of the best around the New York area.
So ball hammered into the offside. Once it beat, Patan is going to be trouble here. But he's been very good. Couple of runs there for Derek Narayan. And the Empire State Titans will be quite happy to know it went into the direction of Kwame Patan Jr. He's one of the best around.
Very difficult for Kwame Patan Jr. to lose a race to a ball, even on a lightning quick outfield. Such a good fielder is Kwame. But this has, in context, not been a bad over from Nahid Sarkar. Can he finish it off at least to give himself a bit of consolation and the Titans?
So ball hammered back to Sarkar. So the 6th over comes to a close. The 72 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Look at that opening partnership. 72 from 36 balls. Derek Narine, 20. Ryan Scott, 46. It's come off 6 overs. 72 from the power play. And the Philadelphians are cruising home to victory here. Yannick Elliott will continue from the opposite end and will look for a change in fortunes. Can he knock over Ryan Scott here, who's inching ever closer to a half century?
Yeah, we saw Ryan Scott already with a half century in the bag. Looking for a couple of runs. They're running quickly. They'll settle for one, so he goes up to 47. We've seen, as you made mention, Matt, we've seen half centuries by Kwame Patan Jr., Deron Davis, who's really upped his batting results and his batting turnaround. We saw Hemraj also on CPL duty, and Rizwan Mazar, batters who would have scored half century. But what makes it special here for Ryan Scott, Matt, he's on to his second. If he can get 3 more runs, Derek Narine on strike.
Ryan Scott has always been a man who perhaps follows. It's so nice he's going to do it twice. We saw in the first year of minor league in 2021, Ryan Scott, the first man to score a century, I believe, or maybe the second man to score a century, was one of the first. And then not too long later, a few weeks later, did it again. Got 2 centuries in the 2021 season. And here he is on the East Coast 2 years later. Could be the first man to score two half centuries this season on the East.
So he's on 47, Yannick Elliott. He gets a ball that given a lot of air, as we have seen, that has been the preferred method from Yannick Elliott. And the fact is, Matt, he might have gotten away playing at Mercer County and Glenville on those new pitches. Oh, Ryan Scott, has he brought up the 50? Yes, he has. Over the VIP tent, and it's 50 for Ryan Scott.
Huge 6 from Ryan Scott, a slug sweep similar to one that we saw earlier from him. And Yannick Elliott has not been able to tame the beast of Ryan Scott. Have another look at this, a big moment for Ryan Scott. Swings away across the line, just to the right of the VIP tent. And those Philly fans have been greeted to some excellent power hitting from that man, Ryan Scott.
So we've seen 750 from the East so far, a couple of them off the bat of Ryan Scott. And he's not done yet. Into the onside. And so far, the Empire State Titans have no answer at all to this big opening partnership. 7 overs gone, it's 81 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So the warm chart, it's the red dominating the blue. The red representing the Philadelphians, the blue representing the Empire State. Maybe not an accurate color to represent the Philadelphians. Yellow is certainly the dominant color here today at Hatfield. A sea of black and yellow, more than in a Wiz Khalifa music video. And Ryan Scott on 54 of 27 deliveries, striking at exactly 200. Derek Narine at the other end hasn't been too bad either, striking at exactly 140, 21 of 15. The one man who has given a good account for himself so far is Nahid Sarkar, and he's back for a second.
So ball that is punched through the offside. Fielder will come around. Can't get to the ball. That's another boundary of the batter, Ryan Scott. He goes up to 58.
And Ryan Scott continues to march on here. 58 from 28. Another boundary, and Nahid Sarkar has not started his second over on the same note as the first one. Runs away.
So we've seen 10 boundaries of the bat of Ryan Scott, 5 sixes and 5 fours. It's going to be a tall one if you want to do a highlight package. Oh, top edged. He has given someone a chance. Oh, he takes a catch. A brilliant catch from the fielder, Arman Patel. Not an easy catch. And in the end, Ryan Scott falls 85 for 1.
Nahid Sarkar gets the breakthrough. First minor league wicket for him. Ryan Scott looking to go big. Down the track, flailing at the shot. And in the end, Arman Patel takes a really good catch. He settled under it. Then realized he was a little behind it. Made the signal. It may have been swirling a bit. And pulled out the dive forward. Not an easy catch. But in the end, Arman Patel held on. Ryan Scott's entertaining innings meets the end to a round of applause from the Philadelphians dugout as he walks back. Rightly so, 58 of 29 from him. He's gone. It's 85 for 1.
So Rajdeep Darbar comes to the middle. We've seen an excellent catch from Arman Patel. And Sarkar Matt has really, his tidy work has really paid off, bowling at 1 for 9. But no harm done. I think Ryan Scott and Derek Narine has really brought this game into touching distance of a couple of points here from the Philadelphians. With 23 to win from 76 deliveries, lots of balls remaining. And we're looking at Rajdeep Darbar. He'll need some runs. We've seen a couple of 50s from Ryan Scott. No wonder this Philadelphian team is earning points.
So Nahid starts off with a wide to Rajdeep Darbar. And yeah, Ryan Scott, one of the many new additions to this Philadelphians lineup. Have really propelled them to new heights, have the Philadelphians. They've done well all around. We've seen when a player like Ryan Scott gets going, they can chase or set any total, even on the most difficult of surfaces, and even with their bowling, as we mentioned, this is the same side that would have defended 51 runs by a comfortable 10 or 12 run margin.
So Sarkar continues to bowl extremely well, Matt, considering what has happened. He has held his side of the bargain. Not easy to contain Ryan Scott and Derek Narine. You look at the other bowlers. We saw 2 for 21 from Yannick Elliott. Not good at all. Varun Manta would have started. 1 for 12, 2 for 20 for Javon Seals. He's usually tidier than that. And we saw one from Yasser Pereira that went for 21. Pulled into the onside. It's a long time hanging in the air. But he picks up his first run, Rajdeep Darbar, and brings Derek Narine back on strike. 21 to win.
And now that Ryan Scott is back in the shade, does Derek Narine take this chase into his own hands and show off his skills that we know he can strike the ball a long way? Game is pretty much wrapped up. 1.7 and over needed. They're going at 10 more than that per over. 21 to win, 9 wickets in hand. Does Derek Narine just look to smash it to all parts of the ground? It is his first game into the side. He's going to look to make a case for him to stay at the top of the order.
And the fact is, Matt, it could be, let's see, might have touched something on his way through to Christopher Vantal. Christopher Vantal, one of the better keepers around. This one top-edged into the onside, but well away from any of the fielder. But just coming back to Ryan Scott and Derek Narain, and they'll be quite pleased that they're beginning to find the opening combination.
It's one thing as well that they really struggled with last year. They couldn't really find that opening combination until the very end of the series with Milind Kumar. When they promoted him up the order, they started to find somewhat of a click. They wouldn't want to have that same problem again, although Ryan Scott is solving 50% of it.
And speaking of Milind Kumar, they're going to scamper for one. We saw him last year, got 100 at the Philly Cricket Festival in 2022. 8 over comes to a close. They're going at 11 and over. It's 88 for 1.
In the middle for Philadelphia.
So 20 runs to win this one. The Philadelphians, they've really done well. As Varun Manta comes back into the attack mat. First bowler would have gone for 12. What did the young man did wrong?
I think he just got his line wrong. Straight too wide off stump and straight a bit too wide down leg. He's going to have to rectify that. And Derek Narain, it's very hard to rectify something like that with the Philadelphians cruising the way they are. They're just looking to finish the game at this point. Derek Narain crashes that one through the offside and another boundary.
Yeah, this is one of his favorite shots. Take a look at this one. Offside, up, and through the offside that goes. That's a lovely shot again from Derek Narain. Such a strong player on the offside. And again through the offside, protection out in the deep. Yannick Elliott has a lot of work to do. He does well. And another single here to Derek Narain and brings the equation down to a manageable 15 Philadelphians all the way.
Was the shot from Derek Narain. We've seen a lot of left-handers really showcase their talent today with the bat. Would have seen Sawan Patel earlier. In addition, of course, to Ryan Scott.
So the Philadelphians, they're on 7 points. Just ahead of them is the Stallions on 10. So a couple of points here. Philadelphians will go up to 9. Gets a bit of a leading edge, running up towards third. And it's going to beat the fielder. In fact, the fielder may have just pulled it back. And so 3 runs off the bat of Rajdeep Darbar. Not in control, but he picks up 3 in the process.
Well, that'll certainly help. Getting one coming down the track, looking to play it into the leg side, getting the edge, take it into the offside.
Manta's gone for 8 in just 3 balls. Always going to be tough bowling to the likes of Derek Narain, Ryan Scott at the top of the order, man. And Rajdeep Darbar, he might have had a lean season so far, but we've seen him before, and he could bat. 11 runs needed. We're in the 9th over, and Philadelphians are enjoying their first of 2 games slated for them. Take a look at this one. Ball getting a leading edge, and maybe another hour or so, it probably will run away for 4, but this time pulled back by the fielder. But running well. They pick up 3 runs, 11 runs needed. So the Philadelphians will take on the New England Eagles next. Oh, lovely shot from Rajdeep Darbar. Just making the point. He's a quality player, just not among the runs yet. But that's a lovely shot through the onside. He picks up 4.
Yeah, flicked away nicely from Rajdeep Darbar. Much to the delight of the always incoming Philadelphian fans into this ground. We saw Ryan Scott play a similar shot to that. Really good use of the wrists, clipping it right off the pads into the leg side. And Rajdeep Darbar picks up another boundary. 100 comes up for the Philadelphians. Just the 9th over. Final ball of the 9th.
So
Manta has gone for 13.
So that will complete over number 9. It's 102 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So it's 102 for 1. 9 overs gone. Nahid Sarkar will continue. And will come into bowl to Darbar. And Darbar pulls into the onside. Fielder comes in. Got both hands to the ball, Matt. We'll have to wait and see what the umpire adjudicates, but the fielder seems to suggest that he took a clean catch. If it does, Darbar will have to go. It's 102 for 2.
Yep, Yassit Pereira, I think, down there takes the catch. We saw him take a stunner last week at Glenville. Really good catch again, and Rajdeep Darbar falls. Short delivery from Sarkar, pulled away. Yassit Pereira just gets submerged in the grass. Looks quite clean to me from that angle, though. So in the end, regardless, Darbar already walking off. He goes for 9. It's 102 for 2.
So Garanshu Sharma comes to the middle mat. Might be an easy day for him. Just 6 runs needed. So Garanshu Sharma comes to the middle. 6 runs remaining. And the Philadelphians will notch up win number 1 at the Philly Cricket Festival in 2023. You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship. And this is, of course, 2023. We've seen some excellent cricket all across the country. And the festivities comes to the Philadelphian. That's a Garanshu Sharma, the man on strike, Matt. Sarkar would have picked up his 2nd wicket, 2 for 12. He's had a very good bowling performance today. The ball tugged into the onside and brings them closer home. And a couple of points, Matt, will take them to 9 points.
Yeah, they'll leapfrog the New Jersey Stallions yet again. And they'll have a chance to maybe put the Stallions to bed if they can get 2 more to defeat the New England Eagles.
And Matt, with all fairness, we've seen the Philadelphians, only 4 completed games coming into this one. The Stallions, on the other hand, would have played twice as much, 8 games. So by percentage, from a win percentage point of view, the Philadelphians are ahead of the Stallions. But we have seen the ability of the Stallions in the last couple of years. They've made it to the finals weekend. Derek Narain on strike. He's up on 28. And we've got 5 runs remaining to win this game. Can it be ended in this over? Sarkar runs in and will not deliver. So He prolongs what is sure to be a Philadelphians win.
I'm not sure you'd want to prolong the carnage we've seen from the Philadelphians. Just a matter of formalities here. Can Derek Narayan hit a 6 here and end it right here? Sends this one into the offside. Will only get a single.
Yeah, good song off the bat of Derek Narayan. Along with Ryan Scott, we saw the two openers posting 85. And you made mention that Derek Narayan and Ryan Scott has solved the opening problem for the Philadelphians for the time being, Matt?
Yeah, I think Derek Narayan has given a fair account for himself. Especially, we saw Rajdeep Darbar at the top. Hasn't quite gotten the big scores yet.
The ball defended here. Sarkar has been very good. We saw in this over would have picked up the wicket of Rajdeep Darbar. A catch from Yasser Pereira. A diving catch we saw from Yasser Pereira. May have really grabbed it back and held it back in the grass. And Matt, today we have seen some excellent catches, no doubt. We'll try to pick up the one from Yasser Pereira. And ball eased into the onside, easy single here for Garanshu Sharma. And they'll come back for a couple of runs. So 2 more runs here to the Philadelphians. And they come down to 3 runs. Take a look. Yeah, Yasser Pereira. We saw last week, Matt, that Glenville would have taken a stunner. A magnificent catch to dismiss Gajanan Singh. And he's taking a brilliant one here to take care of Rajdeep Darbar. He comes down to the last 4 runs.
2 runs to win. Garanshu Sharma on 3.
So 107 posted by the Empire State Titans. Ball worked into the onside, so the scores are level now. The Philadelphians have leveled up with the Empire State Titans. 10 gone. It's 107 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Well, 10 gone, it's 107 for 2. I'm rejoined by Brian Barish in the commentary box, and that worm chart tells you all you need to know. In the first innings, we hogged all the wickets. In the second innings, we've hogged all the runs, unfortunately. Would have gotten a taste of it, though, at least in the first 5 overs, to at least witness the Ryan Scott carnage. Derek Narayan on 29, Garanshu Sharma on 4, and the Philadelphians just 1 run away from victory.
And here I have come back just in time. I've gone away and come back, and all they need is 1. But this is really going to help the run rate, you would have to think, especially like as we get in, because there's only 10 games, a victory like this, if they can do this in as few balls as possible, it will really lift things. So Searles back in for his 3rd over. And whizzes by the off stump. And Sharma, you know, they do want to be quick about it, but they also don't want to do anything silly. Just go about your job, get the 1 run, go home and get ready. Or, well, don't go home. Go back and get ready for the – you still have 1 more team waiting for you. See the crowd in anticipation, awaiting that 1 final run. The Philadelphians to go to 4-0. They'll be 1 behind the Stallions on points, 1 game ahead on percentage with 5 games to play. And that will do it. Turns out one to the onside. There is the ball game, folks. And the Philadelphians have won this one by 8 wickets with 59 balls still in the shed, and an emphatic victory over a Titans team that came out guns blazing but then ran out of ammunition. And Philly goes to 4-0, and they remain one of the 2 unbeaten teams in this 2023 minor league cricket season. Once again, the Philadelphians chasing down the target of 108 and doing so by 8 wickets. Pretty straightforward victory after a great opening pair, Matt.
Yeah, it was quite an easy win for the Philadelphians in the end. Not what we would have thought after the first 6 overs for the Empire State Titans. Got off to a fine start with Sawan Patel and Christopher Van Tol, but the Philadelphians clawed their way back, continued to take wickets. We saw how good the spinners were in the middle overs, accompanied by the pacers who cleaned up the tail end towards the end of the innings. And after that, 2 words, Ryan Scott took over from there. 58 from 29 deliveries, accompanied by Derek Narayan with 29. And in the end, an easy victory for the Philadelphians.
And you see them come out to the middle to celebrate. The celebration won't last too terribly long. They do congratulate each other. They won't last too terribly long because the Philadelphians will have to come back in roughly about an hour's time to take on the New England Eagles. As for the Empire State Titans, they now drop to 2-4. Their weekend is done, so they can earn a split, having defeated the Manhattan Yorkers yesterday and then falling today to the Philadelphians. They remain on 4 points. Here's a look at the match summary once again, as Matt so eloquently put it. Ryan Scott, another half century for him. 58 off of 29 balls. Derek Narayan in that opening partnership, 29 for 21. Sarkar took both wickets, 2 for 17. Not a bad showing across the board, but the Philadelphians really just getting their eye in, figuring out the strategy that the Titans earlier on, and cruising to win with 8 wickets and 59 balls in hand. So the Philadelphians, again, here get set to play the New England Eagles as this Philadelphia Cricket Festival continues. We'll only have to wait for roughly an hour or so before more cricket action, 2:30 in point of fact. And we hope to see you there here on the MLC Network. I want to thank my 2 broadcast partners, Matthew at Chai Bar and Lenny at Chai Bar, for being alongside me. If you are joining us in a couple of hours, we hope to see you. If not, we hope you've enjoyed it. Until then, for the 2 of them and for the 420,000 who have brought you today's game here in Hatfield, Pennsylvania, this is Brian Barish. It's goodbye for now.
Philadelphians.
Played nicely and deep, and 1 bounce. And over for. And this one is smacked high and hard. And there's 4 more to the total off of Ryan Scott. And he is showing his. Playing 2 games today. Oh, shot. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful shot on the onside. And that one has gone for a boundary. And another one by Derek Narayan, another 4 to the total. Call for a catch. This one going back. It's going to 2-hop call all the way to the rope for 4. So rolls in around the wicket. Off the legs there to the onside. They'll come through for another single as Scott goes to 17.
Very nicely played, elegantly played. Sarkar in play again and won't get there again this time either. Outfield is so quick. And Derek Narayan, that's all it takes. Cut away again from Ryan Scott. This is another boundary. It's one of those shots where
making it work.
Swept away and all the way from Ryan Scott. Yannick Elliott, we mentioned. Up and over from Ryan Scott again. And this will be another boundary, right? Pumped away again. This one over the head of Kwame Patton.
Old fans here in Philly.
Goes again. This one down the ground. And don't even bother when Ryan Scott.
Cricket Festival is a great opportunity.
Sliced away from Derek Narayan. This should run away for 4. And the Derek Narayan fan.
Oh, Ryan Scott, has he brought him in 50? Yes, he has. Over the VIP. So ball that is punched through the offside. Fielder will come around, can't get to the ball. Oh, top edged. He has given someone a chance. Oh, he takes a catch. A brilliant catch from the fielder. Ahmad.
Too wide down leg. He's going to have to rectify that. And Derek Narayan, it's very hard to rectify something like that.
Oh, lovely shot from Rajdeep Darbar. Just making the point. He's a quality. And Darbar pulls into the onside. Fielder comes in. Got both hands to the ball, Matt. We'll have to wait and see what the umpire adjudicates.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.